song.
Toys, 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 manly toys, 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 toys,
And TV and movies too.
Hey everybody! You need to make my beard longer. I need a new picture.
All right, I'll enlarge the beard. Welcome to the Toy Duo or the Toy Team. Now that we have it on, we're calling it the Toy Team, but we're still using the Toy Duo in writing just because of like the searchability of it or whatever. Because it's so popular.
Oh, of course it is in Ireland anyway.
Yeah, well, that was that other show that was super popular in Ireland.
The Toy Duo Team.
Yeah,
you can get rid of the quotes and just be like Toy Duo Team, because that's even funnier. Because it doesn't.
Toy Duo Team. Okay, I'll get rid of the parentheses.
Parentheses. That's what they're called. Yeah.
So if you're in the chat, please ask questions. We're going to do our reveals, the hot or not section. We're going to talk about give a shout out of the week. We're going to do some catch ups on the HasLab and that Super 7 in a minute. We're going to do some other stuff. Remember, there are super chats available if you want to support the show and the channel. You can join and become a channel member, all that other stuff. But your comments will still go up on the screen for 0.7 seconds, whether you super chat or not. I don't know. I think some people do the thing where you don't get to post your comment on the screen unless you super chat. I don't put every comment up, mostly because I don't usually wear my glasses when we're on. So they're all on the side and I sort of miss them a little bit. But we'll go around and we'll just say hello to Dan from Danny1981. How you doing today?
Pretty well.
Great. We got Johnny Faces.
Hey, or I mean, ho ho.
I'm Super Awesome Geek Show. And we got Ways of the Sith up there in the corner. Looks like it's pretty cold over there.
Yeah, it is cold today.
And the
Beast
is
bought too many action figures and could not pay his heater bill. And Sir Ground sitting next to me over here.
Hi,
We'll probably switch positions as the show goes on. Let's say hello to some people in the chat. We got Mod Extra Games joining us. He says he was first. Then you got this John Adams jumping in. He's the first one backstage. Of course, he's nowhere to be found.
Who's that mug?
I know.
And then we got Dandy 1981 right here. We got Jonathan Redman. Dino from Geek Strong is probably, I'm listening in the car. Please don't.
Uninvited. He said he was uninvited.
Like button twice. That means he took one away. David R. is here. Let's see. Sonny Sundry's got up early.
Hey, Sonny.
Lack is here. And then we got Black saying a whole bunch of, hey, Sonny. Everybody saying hi. Paul Morales has joined us.
Hey, Paul.
Mr. B is here. Oh, let me put these two bearded dudes up on the screen. They're trying to fit into one screen there. So and then let's see, Mr. B, Zero Toy Hunters. That's Matt over there at Zero Toy Hunters. And then we got Rick from Left Coast Graphics. Who's sitting there next to you, Rick? I can barely tell.
This is my buddy Jay, aka BC Sasquatch Man.
Okay, hey, I really like those overalls.
Thanks, man. He stole them from Mr. T.
I know. That's what I was saying. Hold on. I'm going to do this screen because it will get more people in there. And I'm at my max. I can only fit 6 people. So luckily you guys are like in one screen.
You snuck in 7. They're going to bill you.
Yeah, you're going to bill you.
Anyways, today what we're going to do is, if you saw the thumbnail, we are going to talk about some toy lines we want. And that was what was up on the screen. So those of you in the chat, when we get to that portion of the show, make sure that you throw in some ideas and stuff like that for things that you might be interested in seeing in an action figure. Like the Toy Duo action figure line.
Yes, I think it should be the YouTube greats.
All sculpted by Fern.
Can you imagine the starting lineup of YouTube?
Yeah.
What would you want your outfit to be, Eric, if that was the case?
3 bearded guys.
Just sweatshirt and sweatpants. I don't know.
Ways, what would your action figure be wearing?
Probably like an Ahsoka hoodie or something, right?
Sean, what would your action figure be wearing?
A black.
Or would you be the size of Yoda?
Blue,
It
blue.
would be a black T-shirt that says "Vintage Geek" on it, right?
Oh, okay. What about you, Dan?
I'd probably be wearing a polo.
Polo. What about the two guys over here?
He is
in the beard. Would your action figure be wearing those overalls?
Mine?
Yes.
Yeah, of course it would.
And then Rick, what would
This is
yours
what
be
I
wearing?
wear, so no one has to look at my butt crack.
Action figure would be Hammerhead with a beard.
Hammerhead does have a
wearing
beard.
like his Left Coast graphic shirt, advertising his stuff.
I haven't advertised anything yet.
I've got my Han cup full of drink.
He's wearing a Sasquatch shirt.
Oh, I can't tell. The beard's too long.
And I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. That's kind of messed up.
Bizarro world.
Switch shirts.
That's what I said.
All right, let's do this thing right here. Let's just get the PKE meter out of the way. The HasLab last week was 15,356. This week it is 16,587.
Wow.
Eric, how many more does it need for the next tier?
I checked it just before the stream started. It was at 16,593. We need 1407. So with like 9 days and change, you need like 157 a day to hit it.
Okay, so you
So
just
that's
need
it. It's gonna happen. We're
And what
gonna
do you
get tier
need?
3.
a sticker and a patch, right?
With the third tier, you get the holster for the PKE meter. We already got the holster for the trap, and then you get some other patch.
So you get a leather
Belt holster.
what are those little measuring tape things? A measuring tape thing from Home Depot and some patches.
Yep.
Don't forget the coax cables.
All right, so that's pretty good. I mean, I think like Hasbro nailed it on the Ghostbusters. Anyways, they stuck away from like toys and stuck with the props. I think that was totally a good idea for them.
Yeah.
Let's catch up with Super 7 here. Super 7's mothership was 1443 last week, and they are at a 1455. So they got a whole 17 backers because nobody's paying attention to John's 4 easy payments of $44.88. And I think if they did, oh boy, would they be selling that mothership, right? Like Dino saying, I actually am driving. How did I know? Everyone but the host got a facial pullover beard. Oh, you know what?
Why haven't you grown a beard yet, Vern?
Oh yeah.
Just move your fake hair from your head.
Because then he's got to update his Action Force Vern, and now they're discontinued. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
You know, saying hello to everybody. We need a Thundar the Barbarian figure line.
Yep.
All right, we'll
Absolutely.
save that one for later. The
He
Jedi.
stole mine. He just stole mine. Damn it.
Yeah, the Jedi.
Did you have that one?
I've never seen you in the chat before, so thanks for joining us on.
Didn't Thundar have like a Bigfoot buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that for sure then.
Ukla the Muck, right?
And then there's only one mothership, and I'm sitting in it.
They did. I want to say they did have a line. It was like
There's
the
some
5.
Thundar toys, yeah.
Well, they
Yeah,
did it
yeah.
in they did it in the
3 figures.
late 90s or early,
Yeah.
2000s, whatever it was.
You got them?
Definitely due for an upgrade.
But I want them 3.75 inch so they fit with my Star Wars and other stuff. And then you can have vehicles and accessories and
this is
animals.
where I think we're going to be running into some difficulty because John wants everything in that 3.75 inch line, and I want everything in a 6-inch action figure line.
I was
I think-
thinking about that too when I was writing that stuff down.
It's too expensive to make 6-inch. You can't start a
375
new
is
line.
more important.
Yeah.
What?
It is more important that they're 375.
Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. Let me put the two 3.75 inch line people on that side of it.
He's segregating us, Rick.
Welcome, Jedi. We need a collection of bearded action figures. That's what Zero.
And Ways of the Sith
here.
doesn't need any new action figures because he keeps making his own.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
So let me ask you. So who's watching that Monarch?
Oh, me.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Episodes in.
Everybody.
I will, but
With the 2 monsters they showed. We got
Come
four episodes and there's been 2 monsters.
No, there hasn't. There's been more than 2.
There was a bat flying dragon creature, and now there's a snow thing that's like freezing people.
They showed
Skylar-
Godzilla.
They
They
showed an
actually
old,
showed Godzilla.
They showed
They
an old
showed the
shot of
spiders.
Godzilla. Who cares?
The spider creatures. They showed those
Oh,
ones
yeah, for one
spider ones
second.
hatching. They
There's
showed
been
a
a
crab
monster in every
creature.
episode.
They
so
showed
far.
that
For like a
snowblower.
second. I want
still in
like
it.
a half hour of monsters. I want,
That's in the finale.
yeah.
So I saw that you guys were talking about the Monarch, and you guys were making. Who was it? Jonathan making fun of, or who was making fun of the
me.
shavings that weren't blowing around in the snow?
Me and Jonathan Redmond.
Okay, so what you guys forgot to remember is what Kurt Russell said when they made it down to that tent. When they saw those lights, he said that the creatures mess everything up.
Yeah.
So they create an environment where
they
things
didn't
just
get
don't work the way
lost.
you think they're
They
supposed
didn't.
to
They
work.
didn't get lost and walk in a circle. It wasn't the
They-
humans' fault.
They did not.
The monster made them go weird.
Does anybody here ever went hiking though, and like thought like the distance that they hiked, and they made it in such good time, you know, from the top of that mountain down to that tent? Do you think you could have made it like in the time frame that they're like kind of suggesting it was only like an hour's worth of a hike? Because it looks like they went over 2 peaks.
Have any of you guys even seen a mountain?
Yeah.
What are you talking
Where?
about?
What state are you in?
I climbed mountains every single day.
Well, I know
lived in
Super John
Seattle.
because you're from the left coast, but I mean, Vern's never seen a mountain, and well, maybe you have, but
Vern's in
climbed
California. What do you mean?
I actually climbed a
Those
mountain.
mountains.
I climbed a mountain in Japan, even.
Nice.
So I grew up, Rick, in Northern California in a place called Atwater. That's where I went to high school. And Atwater is about 5 miles from this town called Merced. And Merced is considered the gateway to Yosemite. So Yosemite was literally like 45 minutes from Atwater. So I spent a lot of time going up to Yosemite.
Have you ever seen Bigfoot?
I have seen some mountains.
Have you ever seen Bigfoot?
I've seen people with big feet.
Same thing. We'll just edit that, and it'll sound like you've seen Bigfoot.
Yep, I did. I actually did see Bigfoot. I have a picture of my dad. He used to take all of our family pictures. So I have a picture of my dad, and he's carrying his camera. And he's walking out of like Yosemite. He's walking. The trees are behind him, and he's turning like this, looking back. And I think we caught him hearing Bigfoot.
Oh,
Nice.
there you go.
But this is not conspiracy theories on Saturday.
I have a photograph of my dad sitting next to a chipmunk right before, and it's the instant before the chipmunk attacked him for his sandwich.
Oh, I thought you said it was the minute before the chipmunk started singing one of those popular show
I wasn't
tunes.
sure
that-
where he was going with that either. I was
Alvin.
I thought Simon and Theodore jumped down
Yeah,
and started singing.
Christmas,
You only got the one of
Chipmunks don't sing in real life, Vern.
They don't?
Chippendale did.
Well, I've never seen a chipmunk sing in real life.
I have.
Christmas,
Chippendale, Rescue
Christmas
Rangers.
time is
Man.
here.
See, Jonathan wants a good 6-inch Star Wars figure line. Maybe Val first.
Oh, not this shit.
There we go.
Mortal Kombat.
Get him out. Get him out now.
Oh, I got laid into this last week because of these guys up here that he wants to take over the line. What happened was somebody on Instagram posted a picture of these 3 action points that came with their apparently came with their special ops Condor, but not necessarily did it come with the Condor. It's obvious. Supposedly the word on the street is that it's a card that's coming with like new orders, right? They're just throwing it in as like a bonus 3 points. But it just so happened that he got it with his Condor. So he took a picture of his Condor and these 3 points and kind of suggested that it came with the Condor. So I took that picture and I posted it on my community post. And I said, well, it looks like people that are getting their Condor now are getting 3 points, right? Like thinking like, well, I didn't get mine. And some dude just kind of went in and started like questioning whether or not I photoshopped the whole thing. And I was like, why would I take the time to Photoshop something that's so trivial and dumb?
I bet
And
you it
then-
wasn't sunny.
Are we
And
talking
then,
about flea market toys? Is
What?
that what we're talking? Are we talking about flea market toys? Is that what we're discussing?
No. So anyways, like I kept responding. He wanted the link to this guy's Instagram post, and I was like, well, go look it up on Instagram. And then he basically laid into me and told me I was one. This is all happening in a period of like maybe 5 minutes, going back and forth. And he ultimately said, I just contacted the company. They responded and said, this is a card that's coming with new stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know how he got a response at like 9 o'clock at night in 5 minutes from the company.
5 seconds from the company.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he basically laid into me and said I was a liar and that I was spreading misinformation and all that kind of stuff, which I wouldn't do. And then, so I just removed him from my channel. I don't people like that. He violated my community guidelines anyway, so he's out. And then, but I did email the company when I first saw the picture, and I have yet to hear anything from them. So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it is what
We're
it
talking
is.
about it's a real
Up to me
toy.
to decide what a picture like that means, right? If they're not going to tell me, and they've made no comment on that guy's post, and I tagged them on that guy's post, hoping that they would chime in and explain what the point things were, because they've made no mention of it on their Instagram or their YouTube. So it is what it is, you know. So, but it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun for about 5 minutes until the guy started like saying all the negative stuff. Then I had to be done.
Sounds like a fun dude at parties.
Yeah.
Let's see. I used to live in a base at Mount Denali, the tallest mountain in North America. Is Mount Denali the tallest mountain in North America? I thought it was.
I thought it was Mount Macy or Marcy or something like that.
Oh.
In Alaska.
That's Alaska, right?
Yeah, it's still North America. Where's Mount Shasta?
Washington State.
Isn't that
the border?
California, isn't it, Shasta?
I think Shasta's the border between California and Oregon, isn't it?
Because they have a college in California, Shasta Junior College, so that's why I say that.
And I think that's where the Transformers crashed into.
Every one of the international viewers are just like, what are they talking about?
Taking a pic because he wants to see his beard floating around. Let's see. Rolando has joined us.
I think the Transformers crashed their ship 4 million years ago into Mount Shasta.
Oh yeah, Dan is saying that if the Diamond Select were to make a Rancor, it'd probably be a decent price.
Yeah,
and they could. They have a license.
Yeah.
Who was it? The Jedi. Yeah, the Jedi made that comment.
Anyways, let's see. Who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody else coming in?
Does anybody have any of the Diamond Select Star Wars figures? They got a Stormtrooper, Chewbacca, and a Boba Fett and a Darth Maul, I think, so far.
Yeah,
I know.
I've never even seen them.
I'm tempted to get the Chewbacca one just because I like everything Chewbacca, but I hear they're trash.
Well, it's the Marvel Select quality, right? So they're like an inch bigger, but they look good. They have good sculpts, but limited articulation. Well, not limited, just less than Marvel Legends and Fig Arts.
Yeah, but they're not horrible.
Want to do the shout out of the week. This is another one that Dan suggested. This is Loki 0208216. So if you can memorize all those numbers,
never going to remember
Loki
that
in front of it.
Or post a link.
It's only got 187 followers right now, but I was looking through the stuff and it looks really cool. Very creative guy.
Yeah, did you see his work?
Yeah, so here's one of the pictures, but you can see the backgrounds, and the thing that caught me was the backgrounds. Then I realized this guy is making his own backgrounds.
Yeah, he made a. I don't know if you saw it, but there was one. It was like a little dial with like skulls and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he hand sculpted that.
It's amazing. I mean, just some of the stuff I didn't know what to grab off of there, to show off, because I was like, oh, this is cool. That's cool. There was one where it's like it was like an alley scene, and it had both sides of the alley, which I thought was like super cool. But I didn't grab that one just because I couldn't find like the good shot of it. But here's RoboCop. I think that looks pretty cool. And then
neat.
The Joker. Yeah, so doing all his own dios, it looks like, right?
That's cool.
That's the way to go.
You're on
very
Instagram. Give him a follow. It is Loki 02082016. Or you could just say February 8th, 2016. If it makes it
You know what?
easier to remember.
Do you think that's when he was?
I should have just thrown the link in the chat. Let me see if I can.
Do you think that's when he was born, or do you think that's when like he joined Instagram?
I think if he was born in 2016, that's pretty amazing that he's already making these cool dios.
Well, that's what makes it even more special.
Right.
The 8-year-old genius. It could be a kid's birthday.
I think if you look at his posts and stuff like that, he's got pictures of his kid in there. So that's
maybe that's when his kid was born.
Yeah,
Probably.
I'm gonna grab the link. Hold on.
Grab it.
You guys want to give him a follow? There you go. Everybody's really quiet today. What's going on?
I moved some stuff around in here. It looks nice now. I'm excited about filling some of this stuff.
That's cool.
All right, Rick just dropped in.
Yeah, it's Jay's link on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm gonna give
for
you
all your dad jokes and
I found these
and Mythic Legions pictures. Jay's a big Mythic Legions guy, so if you have any questions about those, man, feel free to reach out.
The Mythic Legions.
Yeah.
Okay, when is the Valiant Knight gonna go up on their website?
Not yet.
that Jacob Marley they put out today looks cool from Four Horsemen.
Are they? You know what they're at LA Comic Con?
I think so.
Because I bet you they'll have that Valiant Knight at the Comic Con because that's what they said they were going to take some stock to all the conventions and stuff like that.
What do you guys think of that figure obscura they released today? The
Jacob Marley
from A Christmas Carol.
It looks awesome, but not for $95.
Let me find them.
I like the accessories. I just think that the Christmas Carol theme of action figures isn't a banger. But Jay disagrees. He thinks it's pretty badass.
I think it's awesome. Just it's super expensive. Like $95 for shipping. You're paying $115 for that thing. Like that's.
Well, Krampus was $69.
They are like 10 times better in quality than all the figure lines that we buy, like Marvel and Hasbro.
Yeah, but I can buy. I can still buy multiples of those compared to one of that, and like.
Well, that's because they're all at Ross for $5.
What am I going to display this with without other figures to go with it? You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be a Jacob Marley. Where's Scrooge? Where's
love the accessories.
Anything else? It's awesome looking.
Yeah,
really. It's just $95. Like that's a lot for one figure.
Does he come with that stuff?
Yeah, it comes with all of it, and he comes with like an alternate head, alternate sculpt.
Alternate head.
There's a lot. It's a great looking figure. They look like they do some really cool stuff. I don't have any Mythic Legions in the collection, but
I don't know what.
What's up, Brian?
What does Rolando mean? Like Vern Excommunicado Connor? I don't know what that means. Is he not talking to me? I'll have to find out.
That's a John Wick thing.
Oh, is it? All right. It's $60 for the figure without the gift set stuff in it.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's
so the thing is with the Mythic Legions, I have never gotten any myself, but after that last reveal, I did pre-order a couple of Mythic Legions, so I'll be able to make a judgment on what I think of them. But in pictures, they just look fantastic, and there are a couple that I didn't never get. That when I see them, I'm like, man, I wish I could get that one. But then when I look, the aftermarket prices are just ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Jay educates me on the aftermarket prices on some of the figures from several years ago. They were like $70-$80 when they came out, but since they haven't released them in almost 10 years, however long ago, they command $300, $400, $500 on the secondary market because people really want them.
The thing about the figure arts is they look really fantastic, and what I hear is everything's like interchangeable on them. Yes. Is that right?
Completely customizable.
Yeah, so that to me means that you can pick up a couple of like figures and just make different figures out of them, or make them the way you want. Which I think for me, is like an awesome idea. And I know that they're a little bit more expensive, but to me, it's like every once in a while I'll pick up like a SH Figure Arts or a Mafex or something like that. And I would just have to put it in that category of, that's just something cool. I'm not going to stop collecting what I am and just switch over. But yeah, for picking and choosing, not everything in that last line looked really good to me, but there were a couple in there that I just like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that one. Just why not?
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea. Like Jay knows a lot more about it than me, but what I like about it is they're not licensed characters that we already know. Like, they might be characters we know, like Headless Horseman and those Santa Claus, stuff like that. But their main original line is just more like dwarves and elves and that
public
middle world
stuff.
kind of.
Yeah, they use the public domain stuff, like Eric said.
So Wax is asking, are they 6 or 7 inch?
I don't know.
7.
They're both 7 inch, but they scale well with 6 inch because they're usually beasts and big muscular dudes and stuff. So, and bears and trolls and shit. Like
A moose.
those are the badass figures. Yeah, they got a moose.
Yeah, the moose
They got a
really
bear
cool.
coming out. Santa Claus riding a horse. Like all those kind of things are cool.
Well, I seriously considered that Headless Horseman last year, but then I was like, no, I don't think so. But then I was like looking at it, and I was like looking at those Santa Claus ones or whatever, and then I was like, I don't know. And then this one right here just didn't. It looks really cool, but it just doesn't say, hey, that's something you want to have in your collection, right?
Yeah,
that's what I thought too. I knew it would be something kind of weird, not weird, but just off, the normal path of action figure collecting, and it's sticking to their Christmas theme. Yeah, because it's Christmas time, they kind of release these figures, right?
And that one is actually was in stock before it sold out. But there's going to be a second wave of it. So if you missed it at 6 o'clock in the morning or 9 a.m. Eastern, it's going to be launched. They're going to put it up again at 8 p.m. Eastern,
today,
5 p.m. West Coast. Yeah, and it's supposed to be the same stuff. So if you miss the first release, then you get the second grouping. Like they didn't do it all at once, so people.
Yeah, like Jay was telling me earlier, is they're in stock. Like you order them today, they'll ship them out next week, and you'll have it for Christmas most likely, right? So it's pretty good that they do that for not 100% of the toys aren't always in stock. They announce them and they're pre-orderable, and several months down the road they ship. But they do this every once in a while, and that's I think that shows a lot that these companies are able to produce stuff in advance.
Yeah,
even though we've talked about it, the Valaverse ups and downs, he at some point has made toys in advance of pre-sales and gone ahead and marketed them to sell them. And that, I think that means something to the toy collecting community, that the company's willing to spend a couple of bucks on their own to produce some product that they can sell or not sell. They're not guaranteed to sell out or nothing like that. But then we go in the direction of Hasbro and Mattel and doing these crowd-funded things, and I don't know. I think it shows a lot when these smaller toy companies can produce toys, go out of their way, spend tens of thousands of dollars on the tooling and the manufacturing and the shipping to North America, if that's what they do, and then put them up for sale. And we know, all as collectors of Star Wars and Marvel Legends and Ninja Turtles, whatever it is, a lot of times we're buying this stuff 6 months, a year in advance to help these multi-billion-dollar companies, pay for the production of these figures. And I think it shows a lot when smaller companies can do this.
Speaking of small companies, you guys see this?
Hold on. I wanted to make your phone screen even fall. Yeah, I was just about to mention that. So Ramen was developing that head, right? Which he said that if they got to 2,000 units on the Ramen Racer, that they were going to come out with that Agent Scully. But what he posted today was they, I guess, are going to produce 1,000 of the heads, and they're just going to include them with the first 1,000 people who bought the Ramen Racer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, I think.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think that's really, I'm not one of them. So but it's still like really cool for the company to say, hey, we're gonna throw this in as a bonus to you guys.
It looks good.
Yeah.
So do you think you'll include a African American guy with a mohawk for the bread van?
I don't know what I'm guessing that what will happen with that bread van is maybe they come out with like 4 individual figures with a special like head thing like they did with that Top Gun thing where like you buy this whole set and you magically get these secret heads that we are not going to like promote at all. You know what I mean?
If you got to do that, you got to do it. I get it.
But I don't think those figures are going to be like any time like they're not going to be timed with that van. They're going to be timed for like later probably. That's my guess.
Yeah, I don't think maybe he eventually does like what that, but I don't know. It's for now it's a secret unless we all talk about it and tell him you should make a bulletproof windshield. Then maybe he does it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys were talking about that on the live stream when we had him on, talking about like the when they're the little modification things, and then the next thing you know, you saw this like windscreen, and I was like, oh, geez,
that's awesome, man. I think all of us need a bread van.
Yeah, I mean, and to be completely honest, I think that they see a lot of potential in that because of Punisher and whatever other properties and stuff like that. It's just a pretty generic pull up. Maybe even those tracksuit mafia guys can drive around in a van.
Even
like keep sign on the side that says free candy.
I keep saying live action turtles. That works great for a turtle van.
Maybe it'll fit on Eric's shelf too.
Yeah.
I found an option for. I found an option. I just haven't shown you guys a picture of it yet.
Send it to me.
Just raise your ceiling.
Yeah.
So some of the figures at 5K Toys, 5K Toys looks pretty good too. I've seen a couple of actually have one on order. We'll see when it ever comes in. But that's another one of those things that's like a crapshoot, right? Whether or not you ever see the figure or win. Because I was watching this executive replicas, and they had this like figure that I saw last January, and it's still like they still keep pushing the ship date back. And I thought it was supposed to be in November. I didn't order it, but I thought it was like originally November. But then I keep seeing the thing where it's like, oh, December, January now. So who knows?
Are they saying why?
I don't know what he's talking about.
What do you mean?
What's Mod going on about hearing some clanking noise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just so you guys know, this was the holiday hat show, so everybody without a hat needs to be removed from this.
No, that's...
I'm just kidding.
All by myself.
That's how the last show ended.
And it is December, so like right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Salacious isn't feeling very well, so hopefully he actually feels better.
This is why I don't buy a lot of those third party, like not third party, but I guess like the smaller company stuff that I'm not familiar with. Like it's like you were saying, sitting there waiting for it, never know when it's gonna come, if it's gonna come or
well, it's kind of interesting because like in the beginning of the summer, I was looking forward to and I really wanted to get my hands on that Warpath Eclipse. And it just seemed like I just couldn't convince anybody to help me out at a convention and stuff like that. And then as time went on, it was one of those things where it was like, maybe I don't really want this figure anymore. And I guess I'm okay with it. I mean, like, I don't have it. I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I heard somebody talking about this. We'll go. I wanted to do this because these guys were talking about the $5.99 action figures at Ross. I don't know if you guys have seen like the pictures and stuff. And then, you guys
saw them in person. I went to
Ross. You guys that have the Ollies know exactly what we're talking about because you go into Ollie's or you go into Ross now, and there's just loads and loads of these figures that are just on the shelf for like $5-6. The 6-inch figure.
Ollie's has been empty lately. It's just like a bunch of Star Wars stuff that's like been sitting there for a while, or that they keep getting over and over again.
There's $3 vintage collection at the stores now too.
Yeah, but it's like I was listening to somebody talk about how I don't know where I heard this, but it's like because of how fast everything's been like coming out and getting announced, there's no time to like enjoy the stuff when you get it. You know what I mean? Like you get a figure, you get like a day to enjoy it, and then you're already like, oh, I got to get this because they're showing off this and that looks pretty cool. You're already like thinking how cool all the stuff that's coming is, and you're kind of like set aside on the enjoyment of like what you got, because like
I don't
this
know what world you're living in,
Tripwire.
but I enjoy everything I get.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
too.
you know
I
what I
try
mean.
No,
I try. I get what you're saying, but what I try to do with that, because of that, because I've noticed that sometimes, like I'll get a stack of stuff at once, and then I'll do my reviews for it and like put it on the shelf and not touch it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
that's what I mean. I
But
got Tripwire, and I had so many plans when this guy got announced, you know, because of the metal detector and the stuff. I wanted to take him down to the beach, like he was looking for jewelry on his off time, whatever, you know, just dumb stuff like that. And it's like, oh yeah, nope, not doing it, because now the next thing or the next thing.
what I've tried for that though is if I do get like a batch of stuff at once, I try to break it down into sections. So like I'll do a small review of this and then do another review of this, and and like dedicate time to like actually, all right, this is new. Let me play with this. Let me set this up. Let me, you know what I mean? Because then, yeah, that's what happens. You kind of just open one thing onto the next thing, and don't really, pay attention to it or have the appreciation for it if it gets like that. You know what I mean?
And I think that like seeing all those figures just made me realize like there was a period of time where it seemed like almost nothing was stuff wasn't being produced at a level where people who were collecting could get it. So then they created an opportunity for resellers, and then they did the overabundance of stuff that took that kind of away. But I mean, it's not everything, right? Like there were still like a handful of items that they just didn't produce very much of.
Yeah, but there was stuff that they overproduced because they thought it was good. Like they leaned into the Python Patrol and Tiger Force stuff so much because of the fact that Cobra Island stuff was gone and wasn't like, you still can't really find that stuff anywhere. So like the fact that they cut back on the scale of production there, they doubled their production on Python Patrol and Tiger Force, and now all that stuff which was already went to clearance in Target itself. Now Target had so much of it that literally it got dropped off at Ross, and now all that stuff showing up there for $4.
Yeah, I would say the tripwire, right? That's a metal detector, or what do you guys call it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's called a metal detector.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you watch the cartoon, it also can be set to detect life forms in the cave.
Oh, so okay.
Because Tripwire steps in the cave and he scans it with the thing and he goes, "I'm not detecting any life in here." So he's like, I was like, his metal detector detects life forms? Like, what the hell?
But you know what I hear a lot of people tell me about those, that like Ross and stuff like that, is like, oh, they're saying my Ross in my area doesn't have anything like your Ross. And I'm wondering if what's happening is like the Walmarts and Targets and GameStops are all just giving that stuff back to Hasbro for whatever credit, and they're just keeping it in a local warehouse in Southern California, and then Ross comes in and says, yeah, we'll buy all that stuff for pennies on the dollar.
That's how it works with Ollie's. It's
Exactly
just
how it works.
I can confirm that companies like Target and Walmart and Toys R Us cannot return product to Hasbro and whatnot.
No,
That's
I think
not
what
part
they
of their
do is
deal.
no.
what they do
It's
is
like
they
Lego
make
doesn't take back Lego from Walmart that doesn't sell.
they make a pallet and they auction the pallet off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then Ross is probably buying. So the ones that I'm seeing are being auctioned off by like the Walmarts and Targets in Southern California, and then they're just distributing to their stores in Southern California. Then
90% of the time, yes.
It's not just by you though, because I've seen them in other Rosses and other areas. It's just some people's store. It's just like Ollie's. Some stores are hit or miss where like if you have good people that are working there, the stuff's stocked and on the shelves. Other times the stuff's still sitting in the back in boxes and no one's even gotten to it till weeks later. And so
this is the crazy part, because I cannot for the life of me tell you that I actually ever saw a Tiger Force Outback hanging on a Target shelf.
Well, no, that was one that you were looking for, but meanwhile over here there
were entire end caps full of that figure.
Yeah, I never saw them, but I remember going in, and the Duke and Ram cycle and even the Breaker and Ram or whatever were just stacks on the shelf.
Yeah.
I remember those, and I never saw one of those Viper 3-packs except one time at GameStop, and it was like half off.
Yeah, they had them though stocked at like Amazon and stuff like that for a long time. So I think that's what a lot of that is. It's a lot of just overhead that a lot of these places just clear out after a while, and it depends on the store, whoever just picks it up. It's not like they just do it regional. They buy this stuff and then they distribute it across the country to their stores. It's just who gets what and how it all breaks
They
up.
do that for sure. Like depending on where, like Ross and the other discount store, where their distribution center is, wherever they ship to their stores, they're shipping them to them by truck. So that's cheap shipping. So if Vern finds a bunch of stuff in California at Ross, it might not arrive till Florida for like 7 months because there's like one dude driving a truck 5,000 miles to get to the next destination kind of thing. So that's a big part of it too. So sometimes it might not even make it. They might only have 3 pallets, and that might only be enough to fill the 20 stores in California, so to speak.
I'd like to see in the video what fell.
That didn't sound good.
You're doing that.
Yeah, Rick's on the right path there. I'm pretty sure it would not make sense for a company to send it back to any place but their distribution center. So if you have a region like I think the reason that in the Midwest and maybe even in Florida down by you, John, we have like 2 or 3 huge distribution centers, like Missouri, Michigan.
Yeah.
For Target.
There's 3 or 4 in this state for each Target and Walmart,
Right. John was saying these guys are talking about Lando peg warming, and I think I said it before. I feel like Target has a policy where they refuse to clearance the Lando figure.
Yeah,
I think it's not even just Lando; it's Grief too. You can kind of piece together what that policy probably is based off that, because I think it's an actual legit thing. There's no way, like there's
no way you go in there and still see the archive or whatever Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
They have the archive one, they have the general one, and they have the
Return of the Jedi one that's on,
and they have the vintage collection one.
Still $35.
Now
this show has become the toy supply chain team.
You know what?
Return of the Jedi is on clearance at Walmart currently, because Walmart's clearancing out all of those Return of the Jedi figures.
But I gotta ask, like, you guys are talking like oversaturation and all this stuff, and it's not like, this is not oversaturated compared to what we had in 2010, 2011, 2008. Like, did any of you guys collect back then? You got new every 2 weeks. There was 6 new figures at Toys R Us and Walmart and stuff. Every 2 weeks from 2008 to like 2012 or 13
about, like,
or
Clone
something.
Wars stuff,
during the Clone Wars stuff, because they did 5 or 6 figures for just about every single episode that came out on TV. And then my friends and I've said this a million times. My friends and I we'd go every week to the Toys R Us in Seattle, and we would see the figures from the show we saw just 2 weeks ago. So we were always watching the episodes together, going, which figures do you think we're going to get? And which ones do you want to buy? And then we'd go to Toys R Us, and within like 2 weeks, they'd be on the shelf. And we were like, oh, there's that guy again. Oh, here he is. Well, we need the Senate guards to go with that guy, because we got the commander, but we need some of the guards. And then next week, there'd be some guards on the shelf. We were like, oh, here we go. We can buy 6 of those to go with the commander, And so it was like, we were just constantly buying figures. Like,
we're not talking about oversaturation. We're talking about the market of people that just decided to stop buying these things at full price. That's what this came down to. I
actually don't support this, by the way. I just have to make that known.
It's all medical.
That you just think people that it is oversaturation? Because I don't. I think it's people just not wanting to pay the prices for some of these things.
I think it's a combination of like the pricing has gotten a little bit out of hand for some of the figures. I mean, they're not getting better in quality, and they're giving you less.
$5 back then.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But John's talking about what's happened in 2010 in Toys R Us, where they were coming out with all those figures.
That's in Florida now.
But the problem is, what happened to Toys R Us?
Yeah, they went on
in the States. They're, I
But
mean,
that's-
pretty
but
much they're
that's-
gone.
That was
A
because of
couple of
bad
stores now, isn't there, in the
management.
States?
Yeah, it was because they had to
Yeah,
keep
but
buying
they're not Toys R Us.
toys that just weren't selling.
They're cheap tourist attractions. That's all they are.
No, there's
Or
actually
they're
there's a couple of brick and mortar stores
No,
that are open now. like
I
Times
understand.
Square and somewhere else.
I have one in my state, and it's just a tourist attraction. That's all it is. It's not a Toys R Us.
What?
What do they have?
They got fancy ice cream. They got pretzels. They got all high end stuff. It's Mattel. It's like Barbie dolls. There's no action figures really. It's not a Toys R Us.
No Hot Wheels?
I don't know. I didn't
You're
look
not
for
missing
hot.
out on anything, man. That's
Yeah, it's not.
I don't
it's
think they do
not
that well
like-
in Canada.
It's not like it was like where you'd walk in and you'd have your own, like it used to be with Toys R Us. This is more like even those Macy's ones are shit. There's nothing in them. Like they haven't restocked since last Christmas in most of them. So like,
Well, they never used to have competition, right? Like in the 80s and stuff when we were growing up.
KB
but they
Toys.
don't have competition now. They have Target and Walmart. That's their competition. That's it. And
Yeah, but
Amazon.
there wasn't Target and Walmart in the 80s selling.
Yeah, they
all
so
these
But they had KB Toys
yeah,
and
Kmart.
KB Toys
Child
was
World and Circus
Kmart,
World and
Sears.
Hobby
Kmart,
World,
Sears,
Hobby
JCPenney.
Castle.
To me, all those places now we're relying on them to sell toys. Where if we still had a Toys R Us, they would be doing fine.
I don't know about that. I
No,
don't
they
think
wouldn't.
so.
Amazon would put them out of business again.
They're the same price. It's no different. So that there's no like. I'd prefer to go to a
No, but
store. and buy-
Amazon doesn't have to pay $25,000 a month to lease a store
But
Yeah.
the problem is with Toys
in
R
every
Us,
state and every city. Like that
They
adds
wouldn't-
up.
they wouldn't have everything that you want at Toys R Us because it would be like they would have all the generic stuff
No, but they
that you
get
could
the
get
stuff.
delivered by Amazon, and then they would
Yeah.
have their one Toys R Us exclusive, just like Target and Walmart, and they'd be in the same boat where like nobody's making an extra stop to go to Toys R Us. I mean, you go to Target and Walmart because you could do multiple things there and check out the action figures and stuff like that. But you are not going to go to Toys R Us and check out, and to pick up a carton of milk and to go buy a sweatshirt and then swing by the action figures. I mean,
No, but I'm going to Toys R Us for the action figures. That's what.
yeah, because those big chain stores like that, they're not surviving on the action figures that they carry.
Yeah.
But
it's just-
Toys R Us didn't go out of business because of selling toys. They went out of business because their
For not
management.
Yeah, for not selling toys.
No, their management was ripping off the company.
No, they had huge
No, you did.
competition,
No,
and
look it
Toys R
up.
Us Did
Look
not mark down prices.
No, look it up. The management like embezzled hundreds of millions of dollars, and then the company had to go under because of it. I've read the whole thing about it. I know the whole story about it. It was not because of competition or toys or what they were doing. It's because the management was embezzling hundreds of millions of dollars from the company.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, okay.
In
Okay,
Minecraft.
thank you. We don't need those millionaire executives going, we heard on the Toy Duo.
Yeah, Jay blames it all on Funko Pop.
Now 31 people think.
Now 31 people think.
Oh my gosh. All right. We'll do the reveals, but did you guys hear about Red Lobster?
No.
What? Why would what?
Red Lobster, they're going out of business because
They don't sell
all you can eat shrimp.
I haven't been to a Red Lobster
I've
in
never
20
even seen a Red
years.
Oh my gosh.
I thought you were going to
Come on,
say
Cheddar
this.
Bay
I
biscuits,
thought you
man.
were going to say this action figure is exclusive at
No,
Red
man.
Lobster. That's what I thought you were going to do.
Lobster. Maybe we do have one.
Do you think the sketch edition of these McFarlanes is going to save the line?
No.
No.
We don't need these.
Who's running
Not when
right
they're
over to their
exclusive to his store, and he doesn't offer free shipping. I don't know how he. I don't. That's got to be tough for him.
This one is only, it looks like 5,100 pieces. Waze, are you in because it's limited to only 5,100? No?
No.
You can
Nope.
color this in yourself.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can get a
no,
marker,
I'm
the
good.
colored markers.
I don't really.
Playmobil actually has a line of toys that come with Crayola markers that you color yourself now.
Does he?
See, only McFarlanes I actually bought were the Batman ones, the Batman '89 and Batman Christian Bale ones. That's it. I don't have any other. And then I bought the Witcher set. Yeah, I'm not a big McFarlane fan, like as far as like their figures and the quality of them.
I can admit, like a lot of people in America buy all the McFarlane toys a lot from my Amazon affiliate. I can tell you that. But in Canada, I think there's 3 people in Canada that buy this crap.
Yeah, I don't. To me, they're not nearly as good as the DC Direct. Like when DC Direct was still doing figures and had like the designer series and stuff like that. Those were some of my favorite DC figures. I'm not crazy about the McFarlane stuff, especially because of the fact that none of it comes with any kinds of weapons. None of it comes with, you can't do guns, can't do knives. Like, what kind of restriction is that in an action figure line?
No, but he sells those in a special pack.
Yeah,
And
that's
this is
not
on
his
the
fault. That's DC.
Part of the reasons is you can't include sharper, harder plastic toys at retail. It's just not allowed.
What do you mean? It's not
I don't
allowed.
know.
Are you kidding me? I buy all other toy lines with guns and swords and knives. What do you mean?
I don't know what you're talking about here because there's a
PVC plastic.
There's a Batman from.
And
there is a Batman action figure that is from like Conan the Barbarian style, and he's got a freaking broadsword, a battle axe, a freaking club, a shield.
When did it come out?
Like right now, it's on the toy shelves right now.
Yeah,
but it's not a gun, John. That's not a.
That was a Warner Brothers thing. They didn't want guns.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
What about the Godzilla? Anybody? This is from the new movie that minus.
Everybody said was fantastic. By the way.
And where do you watch this alleged fantastic Godzilla movie?
Alleged.
Movie theater.
Any movie theater.
This is in a movie theater. Yeah.
Or was it in theaters?
It came out yesterday in theaters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have to look.
They did exclusive fan screenings on Thursday, I believe, and that's when Chris and a couple other people went and said it was phenomenal. Sean actually went and saw it too.
I think that the length on this tail is 14 inches or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
So anybody,
cool. But it's only what? Like how tall? It's only
I don't know, probably like 12 inches, I'm guessing, because if the tail's 14, I think it was
the ultimates are like 6-inch, 7-inch, 8-inch scale. Like
you think this is an 8-inch with a 14-inch tail?
Yep. There's a drawing that shows the measurements.
Okay.
They're all the same size boxes.
Yeah, I didn't grab that picture.
That's why they're subpar.
What about this?
I got it for $25.
Nice.
I was gonna say, did you get it for 25? Because they
well, it was up for a while because it's sold out now.
Yeah,
it's sold out right away for 25. So you'll have to let us know if they actually honor your $25 purchase for this, because I have a feeling they're going to cancel it.
I have a feeling too. I think Target will cancel all 1,000 orders or whatever they got because
my only gripe with this is that it's a phase 1 helmet with
how does that make any sense?
We should have got 2 helmets with this. Like it should have been a phase 1 and a phase 2, and then the Ahsoka Trooper helmet. So then you can kind of pick and choose, because that's what prevents me from buying this is the phase 1. I don't have any phase 1s in my Clone Wars display, nor do I want them.
Well,
I like
the other thing is
phase 1 more.
I don't.
The other problem is that you've got phase 2 armor with a phase 1 helmet, and then you've got
the armor is the same on all 3.
Oh no, it isn't. Look at it.
It's
real
the
close,
same body.
Look at it real. Exactly. In the action figures, some of them are, but if you look at it real close on the movie, they're not the same.
Yeah, that's nominal
because they're all digital in the movies.
Yeah,
but at this point, when they were wearing the Ahsoka helmet, the other trooper should have had a Type 2 helmet.
Yeah, that's mine.
Because if you're putting them in the same squad,
it's just from cartoons. It shouldn't matter.
I wish they would have done the Captain Vaughn instead.
Yeah, that would have been a lot better, because I need
Captain Vaughn look like these guys though.
Yep.
It's got like a scout kind of helmet.
He's got like the Cody.
Oh, the helmet's different, but
Cody helmet.
Everything else is pretty much the same.
Well, it would
Yeah.
be the 501st armor with the like visor.
Yeah, he's the 336
and the
commander,
orange.
so he would have the orange painted bill.
But I mean, like, if you guys could get these, are you guys? Everybody else is going to pick these up.
No,
I do want more 332nds. I only have 2 of them, and they're very expensive on the aftermarket. So I might, but I would probably either sell the phase ones or make a trade with somebody for them because I don't need them.
Okay, Dan, what are you?
I like the 4-pack idea. They probably should have did that with the Black Series, but it would have been $100, right?
Well, no, it probably still would have been $24.99 when it went up for sale.
No, but the 4-pack they did with the vintage collection, I think is a much more collectible army builder idea.
I wish they would do those same 4-packs with Black Series and just put them in the cardboard box and call it a day. Especially if they included like some interchangeable stuff, different pauldrons, some different helmets, that would be perfect. Because then, like, you could buy a 4-pack and then kind of set it up how you want. And now the Apo is really just a 501st. So like the Apo that they did, it's just a 501st on a new body. That's all it is. There's nothing that makes that Apo.
I only buy I only buy stuff to beef up the 501st troop because we've got Jesse, Fives, Rex, you know what I mean? We actually have a full squad.
I will say though,
So
I
wouldn't buy these because they're a different number. They're a different squad, technically.
I really do like these new clone bodies though. The new clone body is a huge upgrade to the previous one without the things being sculpted and the armor being like actually movable. That's really the only reason why they're doing these packs though. It's basically to update all your clones on the new body. That's
these are the new articulation?
Yeah, these are the new body. Yep.
Now, were these announced somewhere, or they just announced it in pictures? Was there?
They announced it Tuesday.
All of these clone packs are basically Shop Disney exclusives. So the only one that went up on Hasbro Pulse was the Mace Windu with the 187th, the purple 187th. All these other
Target. This one was Target.
This one was Target. But they're all going to be on Shop Disney in June or something like that.
Yeah, and they'll be at Toys R Us next summer.
Okay, but was there a video where they said they were on the new bodies?
No, StarWars.com.
You can see that's
it was the Gifted Galaxy stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What about the Superman multiverse?
He looks cool.
It's not Christopher Reeve, so it's not Superman.
It's a cartoon Superman.
I only like Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah, he looks cool, but I already have a Superman I like, so I'm not getting this one.
All right.
Yeah, I don't need a Superman.
I'm not getting it because it's McFarlane, but anyways.
I like it. It's just he's got so many of them now.
Yeah, the scale is off for me. I wish they were 6-inch scale.
I agree with everything McFarlane, yeah.
And then this is the SH Figure Arts.
Nope.
Nobody's
into the Marvel. Her butt is so flat.
Which is interesting because this isn't actually the outfit that they used at the end of the movie either. When they
her face looks weird too. That doesn't look like Brie Larson.
Her jaw got chopped off at the bottom too.
I like the zero articulation cat.
Yeah.
He doesn't do very much. He just eats people, right?
She's way better good looking in life than this figure gives her.
And nobody else saw the movie except for Waze?
I saw it.
Eric?
I
liked it. I liked it.
It was good. It was actually entertaining. There was a whole portion of it that,
on Disney.
There was 5 minutes I wish I could have fast forwarded a little bit. I don't like musicals, so that's kind of like
I feel like they edited that sequence a ton and minimized what that was.
Yeah, I'm glad that if they did that, it wasn't as long as I imagined it could have been. So
I sat through Indiana Jones last night, and that was extremely disappointing.
What?
And I saw your comment that
Yeah, I don't know
the
what
aging scene to me
That
was really
CGI
good.
was awful. That
That was
CGI
really
looked
good.
like the Polar
The
Express.
intro,
Yeah.
that was really
That was
impressive. I
fantastic.
thought that was
very impressive.
that
Yeah,
that was seamless.
Every time you looked at him in the face, it was CGI. It was like pure CGI. You could see right through it, and like it looked like the Polar Express animation. It looked like Tom Hanks on the screen.
I disagree on
disagree
that.
120.
Yeah, no, that was bad, really bad.
You can't say I don't like musicals. You've just not found the musicals for. You know what? I do like West Side Story, the original. That one I can watch over and over again.
The documentary though they did
When you're
on
a jet, you're a jet all the
Harris.
way from your first cigarette to your last dying day.
Nobody cares about you singing. But they did an
Anyway.
hour and a half documentary about Harrison Ford on Disney Plus, and
Yeah,
that
I
was,
need to watch that.
All right.
that was very
Not
good.
right now, though. Not right now. We're in the middle of live stream.
Do you
This
have a
is
full
the,
body shot of Red Sonja, Vern?
No, this is the only picture that I
Okay.
was able to find. I doubt this is going to be a 6-inch figure, though, because most of their stuff is the 1/18
375,
scale.
right?
So it's probably going to be a 1/18 Red Sonja. But so far, looks fairly decent. Well, I'd like to see the rest of the figure, though. Anybody
showed the rest
ever
of the
buy
body?
any of these?
No.
Hacks.
Nope.
Nah.
The Zorro tempted me. I will say that, but then
I bet you they showed Zorro's body.
yeah, because it's been out for a while.
Oh.
I don't usually buy things that you only put one of on the shelf. Mine
Like
it has to have
Ebenezer Scrooge, or
when I make a display, it's got a vehicle or play set
or Jacob
with
Marley.
5 or 6 action figures in it, and it looks like a proper thing. You know what I mean? You don't just buy one figure and stick where you put them in the corner, like you know what I mean? Like no.
Well, Mod Extra is saying that it's a 6-inch. No, you put a figure like this in your Marvel setup,
No,
and you put
it's
them
not
right
a
next
Marvel
to.
figure.
Yeah, it is. Red Sonja is a Marvel character. Do you ever read comics?
Which is weird because the only figures you can put her with are like the 7-inch Conan figures by Super 7.
Yeah,
So she's 6-inch.
I don't collect any of
out
this.
of whack.
So Mod Extra is saying it's a 6-inch figure. I have not seen that anywhere, so I'm gonna look around. If you have something on it, please send it to me so I can get some more because I think it looks pretty good. Let's see. Oh, the Epic Hacks is a 1/12 line. Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, it's a 1/12. If you get any Mythic Legions, you could probably set it up with your Mythic Legions.
There you go. Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, they're like 7-inch scale though.
Well, that's all right. I mean, you said they scale fine with your 6-inch figures.
Well, because usually women are a little smaller, so I guess it could work, right?
Yeah. What about this NECA Shredder?
That's Splinter.
You mean Splinter?
Splinter. Jeez,
This is the last Ronin Splinter. This
Yeah.
looks awesome.
And you're gonna get it right for your collection.
I am not, but it looks really awesome.
Yeah,
I do. I love the last Ronin story. I like the continuation of the Ronin story that's going on now. It's really, really great book. But yeah, I'm not picking these up.
Why does he have soccer balls on his jersey thing here?
He's a soccer coach.
Yeah.
They're so this is like when they're much older and basically the last of the turtles. So it's pretty. It's different looks and like different takes on them. Like you'll even see if you got the Leonardo that's with this, that it's very different take on Leo.
Right.
You got a big Ninja Turtle.
Sonny, I used to collect the Red Sonja comic books that Marvel did. So I would
I don't buy them because they're NECA and they'll break in half when you play with them.
or take them out of the box.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a SH Figure Arts Street Fighter figure. And
I had that comb when I was a kid.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah, the switchblade comb.
His beard.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I had a beard. Yeah.
Oh, I never noticed that.
Yeah.
I'm not in on the figure arts, but I am in on all the Jada stuff.
So this is a screenshot from the Jada one, and I just wanted to throw up the Guile versus Guile.
This is the video game one.
Round one, right?
The Jada released like teasers from their booth for LA Comic Con or whatever is going on this week, and
LA Comic Con, yeah.
man, does that line look fantastic? Like, look at the articulation. Connor pointed out like the joints on Blanca, like for a big figure like this, you'd normally see like a mess with like Hasbro or Figure Arts or something like that. But like, look at how clean all the joint work is on that Blanca.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it looks the same
This
as the
guy's like
Marvel
super
Legends.
clean.
Yeah.
No, like, well, I mean, like he was talking about Black Series and like Figure Arts, like how like when they do bigger figures, the joints are usually like weird or like even with the Hulk Figure Arts, it's a weird articulation. This
Very
is
limited.
super clean.
Let me see.
And then like if you go to like the other shot of like Vega and Bison and all them, like Vega looks incredible.
He's done a lot. He doesn't.
Haven't you ever seen a Hulk that can do the splits?
I know.
Of course.
Yeah.
I didn't say Legends. I kept saying Black Series and Figure Art.
Okay. This is not a Legends.
I disagree.
This is
What is it?
It's a foot.
It's Hasbro.
Oh, is that a Hasbro? I got
I
the
think
wrong
so.
figure then.
From the movies.
Let me grab my
Do you have the other shot of the rest of them?
Oh, okay. Here. Hold on.
Team.
This is the one that I was trying to show you.
I think I have that one. Is that the SH Fake Arts?
Yeah.
Now look at the gapping on all that. Though.
Yeah,
like,
that one has a
yeah.
lot of gaps. Yeah.
No, it's because of the way the arms are designed to
But
come
that's what
out.
I'm
I
talking
think
about.
Come out when you're
No.
posting, but it
Yeah.
all sets back.
Yeah, but look at how clean the Blanco looks compared to that. Like that's what I'm saying.
That's just because of the way that they set it up.
Nah, that's a good design versus Figure Arts and Black
No, he's
Series.
got articulation that goes all the way to like the middle of his chest almost.
It looks awesome. I cannot wait for these to come out.
This
Especially
is what
like-
happens when you really like a line of figures. You will defend it to the end,
you will.
no matter what.
I wasn't even the one
shows
who
you
brought
or
it up.
said.
Connor was the one who pointed it out. And if you look at it, you can see like these.
Yeah,
I
don't think they
figures.
look very good. I've seen people posing these too, and they don't look like they pose very well.
These figures are some of the best figures that are
These
being
are the
made.
best poses they could probably get.
They have the exact same articulation as
I know, as every other figure.
Yeah, they're no different.
Oh God, you guys are fucking ridiculous.
I think you're being ridiculous. You really are. You're dissing something just because it's Hasbro and you don't like Hasbro.
No one was dissing it. First of all, I was pointing out a simple fucking observation compared to something else. So no one's doing anything. Literally just pointing out something that's clear as fucking day.
One guy looks like He-Man.
Maybe.
Man.
All right.
Swear
The
jar.
last
Can
ones
we
I
get a
got.
swear jar, Vern?
What?
Can we get a swear jar?
Wait. You should look up this song if you're not familiar with the band Real Big Fish. They have a song called like the FU song or another FU song. You should listen to it sometime. It's
All
funny.
right, I'll check it out.
Are these 3 3/4 or are these the 6-inch?
No, these are
These are
6-inch.
Yeah.
Okay.
3
These are
3/4 are dead. They killed them.
these are the
and
new
sent them
retro.
to
No, the
sub
3
part
That's
seven.
not true. They still make 3 3/4.
There,
And
they sent them to subpar 7 because they don't want to waste their money on the line.
No. Have you seen the Transformer G.I. Joes?
Yeah, they're not
Those
making
come
them
with-
anymore.
Those come with. They just came out. Those come with
Yeah.
3.75 inch.
Yeah,
full
and
range figures.
guess what they're not doing anymore at Hasbro? A 3.75 GI Joe line.
Actually, they are.
No, they're not.
They just
They
released
sold it.
that third Transformer.
They just sold it to subpar 7. Go check the stream. It just came out the other day.
They didn't sell it.
They're letting them do it because they don't want to waste their money on it. Yeah, that's what's happening.
It to Super 7.
Yeah. Yep. On to the next.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys have looked or not, but that first release of the Duke was he's going for like quite a bit. This is gonna make
Yeah, that original one. Yeah, that original one, both of them actually, the re-release and the original one.
Well, I was holding on to mine because of that, because I was afraid they weren't going to do it again. But I'll take the different packaging to get the original Duke. I love this one.
Yeah, I want this Duke. Yeah.
This is
I
a
did
huge
watch that
upgrade.
stream, Dandy.
I was just kidding, man.
This is a huge upgrade too, compared to even the Tiger Force one. Like this is the Duke I think everybody wanted from
Who
the
makes
beginning.
this? That's
Yeah.
all right. Then
Not the logo on the
the
bottom.
Scarlet. Now I have to remind myself. Did we get with the Dragonfly? Did they unlock all the tiers? Do we get that last figure? The
Yeah,
one
you
that.
got Glenda, that's why this is coming out.
Yeah, I think they did unlock everything. Yeah.
All right. Oh, everything except for the last one.
Oh
right?
crap! I didn't make room for that. I have a space all set for the vamp, but I didn't make room for the
The
dragonfly.
Dragonfly.
I gotta clear off half that top shelf again.
Well, you got a year. You got a
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
To build
This
it
is
an
the
addition
Scarlet
to
we
the
should have got though from the beginning. This is perfect.
yeah. This one
These are
is
two
great.
figures that I think are like are people have been waiting for. I think we've been waiting long enough for them. I think.
So
And she got
I
the-
actually think they should only release their figures on those card backs now.
Oh, I think
Since
so too.
they're making them in the right paint colors of the figures you remember from the 80s. But why they're still making them in boxes is beyond me. Like is it just to make a Walmart exclusive? Is it that the only reason?
They're not Walmart exclusive anymore.
No,
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. Like
right?
that was what they did, right?
The
Originally
Wave
they were
1
Walmart
was, yeah.
exclusives.
I was about to say because I've never seen any those carded figures at like Target.
No, because they're Walmart exclusive for Wave
They
1.
were, yeah.
And Toys R Us here, yeah.
So Target's going to get those carded figures.
Yeah, those are general release now for the retro wave.
Oh, so you'll be able to get like a bent card from Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah. These are supposedly though on the Marvel Legends stock now, so they're thicker cards.
But Amazon will still somehow
They'll find a way.
They'll find a way. Yeah.
Probably.
Do you watch the? I'm assuming you guys watched the unboxing of the Hiss, and they made a comment, like a point, to stress the fact that the card back was thicker on the Cobra
Yes.
standard.
Yeah, they were when they were unboxing the Hiss tank, right?
Yeah.
They were
Like,
talking
they
about
know they got cheap.
Yeah, because those last ones were like paper thin.
Oh,
They're
they're
bad. I have the whole wave, but they're bad. Like
Well, and those 3 3/4 ones, those are ridiculous.
I don't understand the inconsistency from the same company, Hasbro, between retro collection, vintage collection, Black Series on retro cards. They're all different card stocks. Yet they're all printed and made at the same factory in China. So
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense to me. And then 3 years later, like Mark or John, you got the new retros. Are they still on flimsy card backs?
They're pretty thick. But I think they're the same as they've always been.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, because some of them are thick and some of them are thin.
today. Every week. What are you talking about?
I was told the other day that's why people watch the show. They watch
Remember one week at the end of the
arguments.
show, I said we had a pretty heated debate. Is everybody okay? And Wade's goes, that was heated.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
He's probably still over there going, can't believe you kept interrupting me with that dumb gif.
no, you gotta save the public the profanity and for the show.
Yeah, the worst ones I think were the Indiana Jones retro figures. Those are so thin. The card
The
back.
whole Indiana Jones line was bad.
They look like every time I saw those Indiana Jones card backs, they look like they were at one point wet.
Yeah,
and they were like kind of like this warped, wrinkled look.
Yeah, they did.
Well, that is kind of what happens when they're in shipping containers for like 3 months coming overseas
on a boat.
There is a lot of moisture that makes it in there, right?
You know what?
Summer or winter.
I thought it was like just too much like glue.
No, it's moist conditions in the air that makes paper do that.
He said moist.
Well, where do they print comic books now? Because I feel like that GI Joe 301 pages look like that too, almost.
I think all major comic books are printed in the States.
Oh,
But
okay.
a lot of crowd-funded comic books and independent, they tend to print overseas because it is cheaper.
All right. I'm not gonna put Lax post back up because they're just trying to create drama for somebody else. All right. Anyway,
DC is killing it with comics, though. I can't believe DC Comics. Like, go in and look at it. Go into a comic store and look at the last like 3 or
We
4
don't have
months of
comic stores.
You know
look
what?
at the
You know
last
what?
3 or 4 months of
Do you
DC
ever see a
Comics,
comic store anymore?
and they're using like full-on card stock for like every page.
Oh, but
It's
look at the
so-
price that you're paying per book
Oh,
now.
you
too.
are. You're paying like $7 a book. Yeah, but
That's
it's
for
like
the black
these-
labels. They're all like professional
it's
photo
not
quality.
just that. It's
Yeah,
like
these-
even the
these
common
are-
Batman
I
number
want that one in
10,062. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah, well done.
I'm just blown away. I was like, man, DC's really crushing it with these. It makes you want to buy them because they're such high quality. They look so good. But I'm just a Marvel guy.
Their stories though haven't been great. Like that's been the problem ever since the New 52 thing kind of folded, and they've been working their way to this next like reboot. A lot of the stuff is not.
Isn't Jim Lee head of their comic division now?
Now he is, yeah.
Yeah.
At what point in the show are we going to discuss today's topic?
I know we haven't even got to the topic, and we're
All right,
we're
thanks
more
for
than
tuning
halfway
in,
through.
everybody. So today's topic brought to you by Left Coast Graphics. The action figure toy lines we want. And do you guys have any ideas of the stuff you're thinking about, or you want to go? I did some slides. If you guys are in the chat and you're thinking about like an action figure line that maybe like hasn't been done or was done a long time ago, and then maybe you're looking for a return of that, or you want it in a new scale, updated to look realistic, something like that, I guess is what we're talking about, right?
Sure.
So the first one I can think of that probably a lot of people will be talking about is the A-Team. I know Rick will be talking about that one because of this bread van that Ramen Toy is doing.
It has to be 3 3/4 inch.
See, and there where all the debate begins.
Because they can't make the van otherwise.
They're
You want a
making
van?
decent van.
I don't care. You want a
Yeah.
van? You want a freaking Jeep? You want a machine gun base? You want a working garage that BA and them can like modify the vehicles on and put armor plating on and then smash through the building with?
If you wanted that one, you could just get the Playmobil set.
Look at
can't
this.
Get, you can't
right.
get all those accessories without making it small.
But you got a company doing like that van, right? Which obviously they're going to probably do a color scheme that matches like that.
Yeah,
18.
Faces Corvette.
But Rick, would that have been your first pick?
A-Team?
Yeah,
Absolutely. I've been waiting for A-Team reaction figures since they announced them in 2017, and then they got sold to another company. Super 7 bought out Funko, and now I don't know. They're not making A-Team reaction figures. I would love to see 3.75 retros and a good 6-inch scale line like a lot of us collect now and we need someone to put in that van.
So we were talking about that before you kind of showed up. Before the show started, we kind of threw it out there. So I'd like to hear your take on this. Tell me about the toy line for the A-Team.
Well, if they were to make a new line,
Like,
Yeah,
what
like,
figures
what
are going to be on
figures?
the line?
Would it just
Someone-
become the Indiana Jones line where you just every 2 weeks they're announcing a new version of Hannibal?
Or Face
no,
Man?
it's kind of like what NECA does with a lot of their licenses. Like, say they make Aliens as a license. They'll make as many different Aliens characters they can make over a 10
So
year
you're saying like
But then
they
there's
just
no
go
more
through
they can do.
IMDb and they go, oh look,
the A-Team, there's only like 4 or 5 characters they could possibly make. It would be like a one and done kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but
And maybe
No,
they
they would make Face Man
a
from
year
episode 1, and then Face Man from episode 2 when he
Yeah.
disguised as this guy. Then Face Man in episode 3
They-
when he
but they
was disguised as that guy.
There's
What they do with
a lot of
figures
licenses
and
though,
expect to
because
make a lot of money.
when I look through this, they're going to need to get Lance Legault for Colonel Decker, right? Captain Crane, obviously. You got the Frankie Santana, Robert Vaughn, the General Hunt. Then you'd have to get people like who guest starred on the show, Red West.
You mean they're not doing Liam Nielsen and Rampage Jackson?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they did, and they failed miserably, that toy line. But they only need 4 characters, basically. They don't need April O'Neil or whoever the chick is.
So you think after the 4 main characters, they're done?
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying just
I
make
guarantee it. I would promise you, if they ever made an A-team line, there would not be more than the 4 main characters.
All right.
Yeah, because why do you need?
No point.
Yeah, well, I guess you'd need somebody for them to fight, wouldn't you?
That's like making a generic human being for the Ninja Turtle line. Like, it's just, there's no point to it.
So Brian Meyer's just saying, like, emergency. They had 8-inch figures in the 70s, and I think like maybe like they could stretch that out and make it like a first responder, TV first responder line, right? Where maybe they do like start off with characters from Emergency, the Rookies, Policewoman, SWAT, you know, and then they do all those characters, Chips,
I love that,
you know, and stuff like that, and they just make it like a retro TV line. Would you want the A-team built into a line like that?
Yeah, they could do Starscream Clutch. They could do Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, they could do 80s TV, awesome stuff with cool cars. The love.
Again, it'd be very
I guess
limited,
that's the way you'd have to do it. You'd have to do it as like 80s television stars and like build it that way.
And the only company that's been successful with all these obscure licenses are Funko with their Funko Pops, and now Super 7 taking over the Reaction. The Reaction figures are like the only ones that are diving into these obscure licenses like Golden Girls and Married to Children. And
yeah, but are those
some weird stuff?
But those lines are more like novelty than anything else, right?
Are they?
This is the cheesiest the Titans.
Yeah, I think that when they do those, they're not for your mainline collectors. They're for like somebody who, like, say, they really like that show Mod or something like that.
Well, I personally think more people would buy Golden Girls action figures than Ichabod Crane or whoever the ghost is that they announced.
Do you think they would buy all of them, or do you think they would just buy the Betty White because she's made her resurgence?
They did.
They came in a 4-pack. So you had to buy them all.
NECA
did
did
give her a Snickers bar, right?
NECA did full-size Golden Girls.
All right.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, there's 7-inch Golden Girls.
And Mego tends to grab a couple of really obscure licenses because if they're really obscure, chances are the price is really cheap, right?
Yeah.
So
well, you're only selling them to a small margin of people. That's why like some of this stuff's not worth it. But doing it how
like I
you
said about McFarlane toys are only selling to a small group of people.
I just think that like
you guys said, doing the 80s toy line, I think is the best way to do it, because then you'd be able to mix and match and pair, and all right, we could do Starsky and Hutch with the
because in my opinion, they couldn't make these 80s toy lines 10 years from now because we're all dead. Like, not we are all, but the people who watch 70s, 80s shows are going to be 70 years old and aren't going to be going and buying action figures. So much like Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers are the hot shit right now, because all those 30-somethings, you know, Eric and Ways of the Sith, you guys are that age now where your properties are becoming retro and vintage. At 25 years old.
They're talking about bringing back, like,
hoping to become vintage.
You guys don't live at home with mom anymore, and you make your own money. So
I think Rick's got a really good point, and here's the problem with that A-team, right? We already have somebody saying, "What about the Liam Neeson movie version?" And I have a feeling like that might take priority over this vintage 80s team solely because if you're thinking about it, like, you have these figures that came out, and I know they weren't that great. But they, you know, we were talking about this like for a while, like saying, oh, a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon line would be really cool because we all grew up watching this cartoon, except for Waze and like Eric, you know, and maybe Dan is too young to remember it. But this upper half, that's when we were sitting in front of the TV watching cartoons.
They all went on clearance.
They all went on clearance because nobody was interested in them.
The problem with those too was a lot of you guys were telling us how crap those figures were. So like a lot of people just stayed away from them.
Yeah, I think for 2023, it beat out NECA as the most broken toy line.
Yeah,
my views on YouTube and what I've seen in other people's
If they
reviews.
weren't broke the minute you opened them, they broke as soon as you posed them.
Like, is there one of those that Dino didn't break?
I don't know. Yeah,
Because he got them all. Like, I think you did too, right, John and Vern?
Yeah, mine was broke.
Cartoony characters.
One of mine was broke before I even opened it.
Yeah, mine too. Like the very first bend of Hank, when I went like this, the plastic stressed so bad that it's now a light green around like the peg hole. Like it stressed and changed the color of the green. You know, put that like kind of white tint in it because of the stressing on it. So every one that I got after that, I heated up before I actually moved it. And basically, they're just posed. I don't do really anything with them because I don't want them to break.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're all very similar in that, where we get our toys, you know, we'll admire them, we'll bend our knees and our elbows and admire the sculpting and the painting. And then we'll go pose it somewhere and take some cool pictures and videos of it. Like, we're not like Vern does some stop motion, but you're not like bang, bang. You're not actually chipping the paint because you're playing with them like we did when we were kids. So I think we're all very similar in that way, that we're just posing them once or twice. And then 3 months down the road, we got to dust that shelf. So we might change the pose a little, you know, or swap it out with a newer version of Hammerhead or whatever you got to do. But yeah, I guess it depends. Like, even with the NECAs, I've got 4 or 5 NECAs. I've never broke any of them, but then again, I've never dropped one. I've never tried to bend a knee 90 degrees for any reason. If I just need to bend a leg to pose it.
My NECA broke without even touching it. It just fell over on the shelf and was broken. It broke in half.
That too,
it broke in half. The reason it didn't fall and break. It broke and then fell. It literally was standing there doing nothing, and the foot snapped off, and it just fell over. And the foot was there in the peg, on the stand, just still in the peg. So it broke for no reason. It didn't break because it fell over. It fell over because it broke.
I think we all want this toy line.
Yeah, I mean,
if you combine all the films, there's a lot of toys you could have. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about with like the A-Team, right? Like, you got the 4 main characters, you got the reporter, you got Colonel Decker, you got that guy they work for later on in the series. But after you get to like 5 or 6 figures, you're going to be doing a variety of those guys in different outfits. Pretty much everybody else involved in the show is just a regular dude. You know what I mean?
You could make a million different like Outback crazy people with the Mad Max, though.
Right, with Mad Max.
This would make a great Lego thing. Like, the amount of stuff you can do with Lego and these kind of vehicles and stuff is phenomenal, right?
And you got but just for the figures,
50-year-old guys want to buy
the
Mad
Thunderdome.
Max
You could get a Thunderdome
with the figures. I mean, you just got like just a huge amount of characters that you could come up do, and then you could just come up with more just for background figures.
You could.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, it would be cool to see, you know, some of the main characters from each movie and 6-inch figures, but realistically, these have to be 3.75-inch scale so you can make all the vehicles.
All the vehicles.
Yeah, that would be kind of like,
brand pop.
And you got to make a Thunderdome play set. You got to,
Then I'm not in. But then I'm not getting them.
Well, yeah, and I don't know many people that would even be into like a Mad Max toy line. Like, unless you're gonna do it with 6-inch with like bikes and stuff, so you could use it with classifieds. No one's gonna care.
I have an idea that would be much more universally like marketable than anything that's been brought up so far, and is more timeless. I can't believe it hasn't been brought up. I'm not saying I would be all in on the line or collect even one of them, but James Bond.
Yeah.
There's so many options. You've got all the different Bonds, all the girls, all the villains and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's got more mass appeal than anything that's been brought up here so far.
So you would I would buy any of every version.
Pick and choose your eras too of Bond.
You can do every version. You can do the villains. You can do
articulated.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
It's like it's a slightly more like expansive line than like Adventure Series was for Indiana Jones.
You can do Sean Connery with a jetpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a good example there. The Indiana Jones toys that came out just last year, right? They had a 6-inch line of 20 figures, and then the retro line of a dozen figures. It did not sell very well from my knowledge.
Yeah,
Well,
it was a
they had a lot of potential, and
it's
then
a way
they
bigger property than Mad Max is. So,
but every time they announced an Indiana Jones figure, it was another version of Indiana Jones, and it was no world-building figures.
It
There wasn't as much variety.
In that defense, Indiana Jones is the only character I've never seen on the store shelf. So
Yes,
he's obviously the most popular character, no matter what he's wearing. So I've never seen one yet in a store yet. I would have bought one if I saw one.
I agree with you, Eric. I think that'd be probably a very good seller, especially because if you could do it throughout the different lines and have Sean Connery, have Pierce Brosnan, you're hitting all the different eras of people that are into that. Yeah, I agree with you.
I agree. I think even just making the Bond figures would be like sellable. Because everybody would pick up their favorite Bonds.
Well, the thing with Bonds too, like original Bond fans are even older than me. Like they're our dads because he's in the 60s and before when the books came out. But again, with Bond is the vehicles is a big part of the Bond.
DB5. You got to do a DB5.
So there's no Aston Martin or no Lotus. Then there's
no because you can do Roger Moore or Sean Connery, one of the Bonds, and just put 3 martini cups in the package. You didn't have to do any other accessories.
They gave all the martini cups to Hammerhead though.
Yeah.
Well, Lego had some James Bond stuff, so they're they are willing to license.
There's one out right now.
Yeah.
They had the Lego Aston Martin DB5, which looked really cool at Target every time I saw it, but I don't know.
Well, they have the small one out right now on the
do you think the Lego Aston Martin and the Playmobil Aston Martin were big sellers? I'm just curious.
No.
Well, I have no idea.
They were either.
I don't think so.
No.
Just because
the people I know that love James Bond, they're 20 years older than me.
They're not buying Playmobil.
They're not buying any toys.
I think
they'll buy a golden gun for $1,000.
But the thing is, they would. But Rick, I would say that for somebody who's a Bond fan, if they came out with a 6-inch, fully articulated, like Roger Moore, Sean Connery action figure, I think people would want it.
Yeah, you get non-toy collectors coming in.
The other thing is, you got to remember
market right there.
It would be expensive to make because it's not a cheap license to begin with.
Sure.
But
then I can pull the Sean Connery head off, stick it on a sword fighting barbarian dude, and just call him the dude from Highlander.
No, the other thing is you got to remember that in the UK, James Bond is extremely popular. It's almost more popular in the UK than it is.
It is, but for 70-year-old people.
Not all.
I
mean,
the majority.
I see a lot of YouTubers our age in the UK going on about
have Eric and Ed ever watched an episode of Married with Children when it was on TV?
Yeah.
Because that's 25 years ago since it's been on TV, right? So
somebody was talking about a Married with Children toy line here, but it would have to come with a couch. And
now with Christine Applegate being in bad health, it's probably not likely.
What about so Rick's A-Team line got demolished because there's only 4 figures to be made. What about his idea of the Fifth Element?
Well, they did that in Reaction.
And that's
but that's Reaction. Those are
I have all those figures.
What about a 6-inch fully articulated detailed toy line?
It would be cool, but I wouldn't be.
Taxi.
See, I would want a lot of the vehicles, and I think you have to be a smaller scale than 6-inch to do as many vehicles as I would want.
How many vehicles were there in the last Element? Or the Fifth Element. The Fifth Element.
And the taxi.
The police cars. You could do the police car, the taxi. There was the spaceships when they were going out into space with those weird things. They had those bikes.
They went out into space with what weird thing?
They had those bikes. Yeah, the flying food truck. They had those bikes. The shape-shifting guys had, and so I mean, there's lots of
there's lots of different big ass gun.
I don't remember the bike.
I don't know. Oh, look
I
at
don't
that.
remember.
Mark Ape.
Like,
Babylon's
all the
5 would
time,
be a
I
good
just want to
line.
see toys.
I couldn't tell you a single vehicle from that movie. All I could tell you is Chris Tucker, Bruce Willis, and Mila Jovovich.
Right.
And a
Multipass.
pyramid. Okay, and then I guess that line side. We were talking about the Clash of the Titans, but it would probably be a redo of that 80s, and I think it would people would want it, but I think it would be the same fate as those Dungeons and Dragons, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
pretty
then
much.
again, I'm saying, like, in order to get the Pegasus, the Kraken, and all that stuff, you'd have to do it in a smaller scale.
Yes.
You
probably.
you couldn't do a 6-inch scale Kraken. That would be like $1,000. You know?
And I know a lot of you guys brought up that Clash of the Titans over the past weeks and stuff. That's a much you'd want a line based on that. But again, I'm just going to mention that's like 60 years old, that movie. So the people who would be most interested in the property are all older than us and probably don't play with toys.
But that's why I said
But it would be awesome.
that it would suffer the same line as this cartoon Dungeons and Dragons, right? And with the 6-inch line, you're talking about some 6-inch figures that look like those 80s characters. This horse was $20 on Amazon, right? If you look at
Nice.
Connor has like a video about it. Without the saddle and sticking some wings on, the horse could literally be something like a $20.
Yeah, that would be a no-brainer they could do. Yeah.
For a 6-inch, and then basically it's like you do like a handful of figures. I
would do Build-A-Figure pieces for the Kraken and call it a day. You do Build-A-Figure.
And then the HasLab for the Kraken or a
no, you just do build. Each one comes with a tentacle, and then two people come with half the body. You call it a day.
So G-Force is saying a Shogun Warriors in 6-inch. Now I know they made like those smaller metal Shogun Warriors, but I wonder how hard it would be to make like a Shogun Warrior in almost like, you know, those Transformers style size, because that's at 6-inch size, because they would transform a little bit, right? The Shogun Warriors would transform a little bit.
Yeah,
so
did Super 7 make any ultimate scale of Shogun Warriors?
They made like some of those reactions, right? Of some of the
but they've made Shogun Godzilla in ultimate scale, and so maybe they do go that 6-inch
or 7-inch,
like Jumbo Mazinger or whatever their names are. I think that'd be cool.
But do they just make them the action figure, or do they make them transform?
I think you make them just like you did the original. So
just make them like the original toy with an arm.
Shogun Godzilla had a fire and fist. So when they made the Ultimate Shogun, they made him with a fire and fist. So
imagine like how small those missiles are going to be in Mazinga's hand, because they were 3 small missiles, and they were like this big for the 24-inch one. So for a 7-inch figure, I mean, I'm never going to find them again.
I still don't know what you guys are even talking about. I have no idea what Shogun Warriors is.
It's Asian.
They had these Shogun Warriors back in the 70s, and they basically are non-articulate, very little articulation. This is Lydeen, and basically he has
so like Toku stuff.
Yeah, and then this guy right here has this little missile launcher right here where it sets in, and it's like a little bird, and you shoot them. And then they have like the other characters where like maybe the fist would fire off. There is a version of this where the fist fires off, stuff like that. And then Godzilla was part of that line too.
Yeah, I remember those were around when I was a kid. Like I might have had one at one time, but I've always wanted the Godzilla, and just whenever I see it at like a toy show, it's like, oh, it's only $800.
So Jonathan's saying,
cool toy.
Yeah, Jonathan says 6-inch Battle of the Planet figures that don't cost a fortune or take 2 years to come, and I think he's talking about that one. Like, what was that? Storm Collectibles did the one. Now they
cards for someone, right?
Yeah, G-Force has it, I think. I think that would be really cool to have like a line.
Battle of the Planets, Planet of the Apes. Is that what he's talking about?
No, Battle of the Planets. It's
another old property.
G-Force's logo has one.
Power Rangers cartoon, but it's older than the Power Rangers.
I'm trying to think of the Japanese name for it.
Gatchaman or something.
That wouldn't help him. I don't think that would help him at all.
Your
know
parents watched it.
No, probably not.
So much stuff
sure
is coming across generational appeal, and I think like that's an interesting thing because I think you'd need a new Battle of the Planets property to sell that,
Yeah, she
right? What
Yeah,
about
Most people probably don't.
The Last Starfighter? Or would that just be another one where it's like so limited that you'd have like 4 action figures and that's it?
No, I'd like that one, and I think it'd be
Check
pretty cool.
out Toy Weaver on Instagram and Facebook. He made a 4 or 5 action figures in a retro 3.75-inch scale, and they looked fantastic.
For
He's
the
just a
Last
customizer,
Starfighter?
right? What's
For
that?
the Last Starfighter?
Yes, and
Yeah.
he made a little video game cabinet. But again, if he was to ask how many people want to buy them, it might only be 40 people. Like,
I think you're.
you love that movie. It wasn't.
I think
a big
your Clash
blockbuster
line.
that everyone loved.
What is it?
I think your Clash line works if you expand out. Like if you did more than just Clash of the Titans and you maybe encompassed Hercules and some of those other properties that are set in that same universe, I think you could probably get away with that.
I think that Clash of the
sure,
Titans
that's-
is kind of like because they did do an updated movie, but it just didn't have the same appeal as that one in the 80s had in the 80s.
No, but if you could incorporate the 80s stuff along with probably some of
Other
like
things of mythology
Hercules,
from that same time. Yeah.
Hercules,
so do mythology line, and then
Yes,
and
where
then
I think
and then
and then
squeeze
call
them,
them
have to
Mythic
make
Legions.
those toys.
Yeah.
Because
And
they're
squeeze them
Mythic
in that way.
Legions would
So
be
maybe
bang
what
on
we need to do is
battle.
we need to figure out a way to get Mythic Legions to try to get
Do your
that
Clash of the Titans
license
line.
that would fit
Yeah.
perfectly
I'll
into
talk
their
to my people.
stuff,
Yeah.
right? Can
I
you
was
imagine
watching
if
this morning,
Mythic-
that would be the ideal situation for you then at that point, because then all those characters pretty much fit under
theoretically, right?
their quota of how they can get away with doing stuff. So yeah,
They
you would be
already
able to
have a horse,
you'd be able
right?
to do Pegasus. You would be able to do all those different things. So
I
that
think
we
would
were
probably
talking
be
about
the
them
most
this morning, and
realistic.
their 10-year anniversary is 2024. So they've been around 10 years now, the Four
They already
Horsemen.
had their 20.
Okay.
But I mean, I think one day they're
going
going to get a license, and maybe that license is somewhere in the Conan, Clash of the Titans kind of range, because it would fit in very well with their line of figures, and I think it would be pretty popular.
Right.
I think that would be their best bet because then, yeah, like we were saying, they would be able to use the workaround to still do Percy, still do.
But it'll probably be NECA.
Still do all those.
Yeah. Oh,
types
then I would definitely not be buying them.
of- yeah.
What about Lethal Weapon? Is that like a
That'd be fun.
licensing bonanza there?
Could you get a special play set with Murtaugh on the toilet just about to blow up?
Count of three.
I think you would be that would be like a special pack because you'd have Murtaugh, you'd have like the toilet set up right, you'd have like the bomb behind the toilet, you'd have Riggs with his little vest on, getting ready to pull him off into the tub. You can have like a bomb tech in there, right?
Yeah, it'd be a nice little play set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this. Hold on. This is a good one. How about Deadwood?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And
I don't
then
know how well
So
that
just
would
Cowboys
sell.
and Indians.
Gilster saying Blade Runner. I think a Blade Runner action
There'd be
figure-
3 action figures. That's it.
But they would be cool. They
It
did
would be
actually
cool,
make.
though.
They did
Didn't
make
we?
those.
More than that,
Right,
you
yeah.
have like Rutger Howard, right? You
NECA,
get
maybe?
Sigourney Weaver. You get the Blade Runner guy. You get who's the police guy that left all the little origamis lying around. You get
Edward
the one
James
super
Olmos.
cool car that flies, right? You get all the replicants or whatever, and then you'd have to like make the next movie.
And
And then,
Nolte was the Ugnaught in The Mandalorian, Lack. We call him Ugnolte.
Yeah. So 4 Horsemen only being around 10 years. They worked on Motu 200X figures. I feel like that's more than 20 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the Four Horsemen, the toy company,
Yeah.
is on their 10-year anniversary.
20,
They've been
20.
20. They've been
And then the
producing
last-
design toys for a long time.
Would this be a toy line that could get made? I mean, besides
Again, wouldn't you just have like 4 action figures? I mean,
Yeah.
you'd
Again.
there's not
Yeah,
a
I
whole
mean,
lot
it-
to work
no,
with
because
either.
In the building.
you'd have
Artwork.
John McClane showing up in the tower. John McClane after he took his shoes off,
Barefoot with glass
at
in
the
his
airport,
feet. The special
Christmas
edition.
sweater.
The
They
special
did
edition-
do
No gear.
I heard someone talking about a Die Hard advent calendar that's like a big skyscraper.
Oh,
Then
the
every
Mattel
month
Tony
figure
Tower.
falls down or something, but I haven't seen pictures of it. I just heard about it.
There'd
See, and
be
this
a
is-
special edition with glass in his feet
I
that you can
think
actually
that
pull
every
out.
time it's pitched, the Bond stuff and the encompassing Greek mythology with Mythic Legions are the two sellers.
I think that
realize
Bond
that
one was probably the best idea that I heard today.
Yeah.
Other
I don't think
than
it would sell
of
that
course, GeForce is saying Point Break figures. That way you have Keanu
With all the
Reeves,
extras,
right?
yeah,
Surfing, Keanu Reeves in a suit, Keanu Reeves in a skydiving gear, right? And then, what's it? Patrick Swayze, you know.
See, I would personally, I've always wanted a 3 3/4 inch like Thundar the Barbarian and Herculoids, and most of it is because I want all of the monsters.
Yeah.
You know,
Like Jay was telling me earlier, 6-inch scale animals, like GI Joe's got the wolves now and the alligators and the eagles and
That would be a great line. Yeah.
See, the thing is,
Diamond Panther,
Diamond
animals are
Select.
cool.
Yeah, Diamond Select does a lot of these like movie styles, right? Like the John Wick, and they did that Westworld. So I could see them doing like those figures, but the thing is, I just don't want any of them because
Diamond
I would take a 6-inch John Wick.
I think they make a figure
Yeah.
art or a Mayfix John Wick, right?
I
I
think
think there's
NECA
something like that.
NECA did a
There's a
John
few different
Wick,
companies
didn't
that make a John Wick.
But I would like an actual, not a hollow.
And now we know where Sonny is because these are the figures he wants.
Magic Mike.
it? Magic Mike.
Oh, Lax saying the Dirty Dozen. You could get at least 12 figures out of that.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
See, if you pick a really badass, popular character from a property, you wouldn't need any other characters or, sidekicks. It was just like Batman and Robin. They have a bunch of different villains and stuff to choose from, but not every toy line or
I
character.
think you could do like a
has
Western
that,
hero too.
back
You could
catalog.
probably,
But,
you could probably get away with like John Wayne, Clint Eastwood doing some Western heroes and just kind of
For sure.
knocking out some different like Western movies over the years. True Grit. You could probably do Jeff Bridges and Matt Damon. You know what I mean? Like
They tried
But
that
unlike
back
G.I.
in the
Joe,
day.
they wouldn't need 48 characters or 150 characters. You just have the 3 or 4 main characters in different costumes, right? Like,
yeah.
like look up that Back to the Future. NECA's pumped out a lot of toys from that line, but it's just the same 3 characters.
I
in
don't
different
think
costumes.
Eric is agreeing with anything you have to say, Rick.
He's watching
He's
soccer.
very upset on every word.
It does look pretty.
I think that was a reaction to something else, though.
Yeah, I'm watching football.
And when
Soccer?
yes,
It's Saturday. There's no football on.
it's college.
No,
Oh,
like
he's watching
proper
soccer.
football.
Yeah.
Did you notice that Netflix has gotten all of like DC's old crummy movies?
Oh, of course they are. Yeah, I was like, where'd that?
That's why I canceled HBO Max, because they're literally selling everything they have to third parties. So like, there's no point in having HBO Max anymore. You can literally go to Freevee or Pluto or one of the free ones and watch the stuff for free.
Anyways, I know everybody's watching Monarch Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV Plus, but just my little plug. I'm totally in on Slow Horses, which is also on Apple TV.
What about House Invasion? Have you watched that?
I have. It's actually pretty good. Hold on a
it-
second. I'm going to drop out for a second and come back because, of course,
Your video
StreamYard
seems stuck.
crashed.
That was the only show on Apple that I was like looking at besides watching. Otherwise, it's not really worth paying for the streaming service at all.
I like Mythic Quest.
Okay. And I want to check out Shrinking with Harrison Ford and
Yeah. I've wanted to watch that. It's on my list. Yeah.
it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of stuff on that network to really like get you to stay. You know what I mean? Like if I wasn't getting it for free, I wouldn't be paying for it.
So I got a question for you guys in the toy collecting community. So a couple of years ago, when these micro galaxies came out, they had all these chases, one of 5,000.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy Jay both found one of these in our local Walmarts this past week. These are now 2 years old. and there's been several reports of people finding these in Walmarts across Canada. So, do you think they found several cases of these in Walmart Canada's distribution center?
They must have,
Send them out
yeah.
to stores,
No,
or
I think-
they make more than 5,000 of them.
I
And I
never
think
saw a
that-
single chase of those.
Yeah,
I've
the
never, I've
It's
never,
hard to find one.
I've
And
never
the
we
seen
found-
those.
distribution was
We
shit
found them
for
3
the
days in a row
first
now.
wave. That's why, because those first distribution for those early waves of Micro Squad sucked. So they just had to do a reissue with Jazzwares, where they literally had to go back to stores, pull all the old crap off the shelves, and put the new stuff on because it wasn't coming out. So like if you go to Walmart's and actually Walmart's the only one right now, but they're all like stocked with stuff that either should have been out a long time ago and never was, or they have the new waves.
Well, I know what my Walmart did is they went up on their top shelves and they took down all their cases of toys that had been up there for like a year and a half, and they put
and that's
those on
probably-
the shelves
and
because
that's probably where it was. Yeah,
they're really silly companies that way. But I'm pretty sure
yeah.
that this is old stock.
Jazzwares has a weird way of distributing. They do it with the AEW figures too, where they have to physically go into stores and restock it themselves because the stores don't put the stuff out.
For
They still
for
do that in
NECA?
Target, don't they? Don't
No, for Jazzwares, that's
Oh.
the company that does the Micro Squad, and they do the AEW figures.
Yeah, apparently NECA is the same, where they have reps that go to Target and stuff. So like
Mhm.
around that time that Last of Us set came out, the NECA rep in for the Targets in my area, he just decided to stop going into Target altogether. So
I think we have reps like that at Toys R Us for NECA and other stores. We have like Lego reps like John. And then there's also the people that do all the Pokemon cards and top sports cards. They tend to go to each store and organize their stuff and like. But I rarely see Hasbro people or
That's because
toy
they don't have that. It's just like NECA and Lego and those
No.
companies.
they do have it
Like-
because they're responsible
Hasbro
for
got
it.
rid of them all. They just let them go.
Yeah.
Because I knew the Hasbro guy in our area. Him and I used to go to lunch together and stuff, and he lost his job, and they eliminated that position. Hasbro no longer sends people into stores.
What I
Yeah.
think we have here now is we have companies that might deal with a couple of different.
That's
toy
what
brands.
happens exactly.
So
That's
this
where
lady will come and organize the sticker sheets or the Pokemon cards and maybe the Lego
yeah.
and something else, right? So it's still an existing job, but I
They're
think we've
moving.
narrowed it down
Yeah,
to-
they're moving to they're moving to outside companies that will do more than one line at a time, more
interesting.
than one company at a time. Yeah.
So Vern? What is your most wanted toy line? Whether we know it's gonna be 6 right?
Okay, so I think I am 100% behind like an 80s Clash of the Titans figure line in the 6-inch scale. But my problem is I just understand that it's going to end up being like something that's not really that sellable unless you get it in like a smaller like Ramen or somebody decides to like do them individually. Then it's going to take like years to be able to like fill out a small little set. And the reason why I say that is because of the Dungeons and Dragons just seemed like it was a complete disaster, partially because of the figures were so bad. And secondly, just because I think that there wasn't enough nostalgia factor for people to go after it. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So with
I think
that,
hit both markets, like our age and maybe a little bit younger, like Ed and Eric. Maybe those guys caught the tail end of those cartoons and they have a little bit of interest in them, but maybe not. I'm not
right.
I'm not sure. I think it's more of the 40-year-olds that.
I think it'd be cool if they did.
Well, go ahead.
On that note, for like cartoons, when Waze and I were growing up, like all the Disney cartoons from the late 80s and early 90s, like DuckTales and Chippendale Rescue Rangers and Gummy Bears and all that. That would be cool.
Yeah, Super 7 was doing them, and they looked awesome. But it just didn't
get that audience. But to answer your question,
I don't
Rick,
know why.
Realistically, if there was one thing that I wish a toy company would do, I wish it was Hasbro, along the lines of their GI Joe line. I wish that they would truly go back and do in the 6-inch scale the Adventure Team series of figures. The ones that had the Adventure Team logo,
cool.
that was like the Hunt for the Yeti, or the Spy Island one, or all those ones
But
that
in
they did
6-inch
in the
scale.
And I wish they would do them in the 6-inch scale and kind of pay homage to like those originals by giving them the generic haircut with the generic beard and
But
mustache.
that's what they're doing with those. That you keep saying
No,
they're
that's
not,
not
but
what-
that's what they're doing with the 60s.
No, those are not based on. Those are loosely based on by name
The 12 inch.
only.
Yeah, just
the
the
Action
anniversary
Soldier,
line.
but they have nothing to do with those 12-inch lines because they don't even look like the 12-inch figures, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the Adventure Team line of figures that they did in the 70s, which was after the military, which were not military at all. But they had the guy that was like, had the helicopter backpack. They had the guy that
Or
had
the
the
astronaut.
Yeah, they had the Adventure Team, the guys that had the logos. You got to look them up if you're not familiar with those 12-inch figures. But those are the ones, that generic haircut, the beard, everybody had a beard and a mustache, and they had the scar on the face, whatever. But that
And
line
flocked
that they're
hair.
doing is loosely based on a 12-inch figure. They just called it Action Soldier and gave them all modern warfare stuff. That's not what I want. I want that classic 70s Joe. I want the Hunt for Yeti, where the guy's in the blue Arctic
I
jacket,
just want the Yeti.
hunting like a Yeti, and have coming in a double pack with like a Yeti. The guy going out looking for the King Tut's stuff and having like little King Tut
I'd
thing.
never ever see the Yeti in Florida, just like we never got Bigfoot in Florida.
Right.
Well, then you got skink ape. What's he called in Florida? Skunk
Yeah,
ape.
and you know what?
Skunk ape.
No flock hair.
I'm still really pissed off and upset that Florida, the entire state of Florida, never got a single Andre the Giant Bigfoot. We just
Canada got one.
I'm upset, John, that I never found one of those wrestling He-Man Mr. T.
Me either. I need Mr. T.
Never once found one, and my order from Walmart got canceled, so never got
It
one.
bothers the hell out of me that I don't own that figure. Like it's
My toy line would be Mortal Kombat 6-inch Hasbro.
Right, Jada,
classified.
right?
Yep, it's like in the same scale as classified. If we could get, I was really hoping originally they were going to get the Street Fighter license to do them, but Jada's figures are phenomenal and they look great. They just don't scale well with the classifieds. Like they scale better with Legends and Power Rangers and that type of stuff. They're a
Are
little
the
bit.
Jada figs like 6-inch?
Yeah, they are, but they're a little, the color wise and like the build of them, they're thicker than like a classified figure. So like if we could have got Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter like we did in the 90s with in the Joe scale, I think that would have been really awesome.
And they also do the AEW or whatever they're called, right? The wrestling.
No, Jazzware stuff.
Oh, that's Jazzware. So the Jazzwares, are their quality better than Jada plastic toys? Because Jada is mostly die cast. Like that's their bread and butter is die cast stuff.
The quality of the Street Fighter figures is second to none, honestly. Like
because I've never even seen them in stores, so I don't know.
These figures are solid. They have like a weight to them. You can literally pose Ryu on one foot, like standing straight up, and the balance in the plastic is very well. They're probably the best figure line out being made right now. In all seriousness, just quality wise, they're great figures. Like I said, I was hoping that these would have been more in scale with classifieds because that's what I grew up on with having those Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat stuff.
the Street Fighter GI Joe figures
with the classic.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
late 90s.
If we could get the Mortal Kombat line in there and get it away from Toddy Mac where they're 7-inch and don't go with nothing, I would be much happier. Like that would be awesome with all those accessories and different power effects and stuff like that. That would be cool.
Something I think kids are missing.
Sounds like it,
for
doesn't it,
kids,
Mike?
of course, are play sets to go with any of these toys. And again, the play sets fit.
I wish I did.
3.75-inch scale. But I mean, just don't make play sets anymore. Like, can you think of one play set that exists that's not a Bat Cave that they made 8 years ago and they just keep re-putting it out again every Christmas?
The last one
were there.
Every
Yeah,
toy
the-
line had a playset when we were kids.
and that's just
Yeah.
And
so
had
expensive.
multiples of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why John keep saying with the 3.75, you guys get them, we don't. You know
Like
what
I
mean?
want to,
Well, it
like
makes sense, right?
I guess what this brings up is how far are 6-inch collectors willing to go? Like when are you going to hit your breaking point? Is it because they're already $30 a figure? So are you going to wait? Are you okay spending $40 a figure, $50 a figure? Like where
It
does it
depends on
stop?
what it is. It depends on what it is.
John is
And
I guess you've never
probably
been to
the last
Canada.
person to ask this.
No,
question
I'm just
because
saying
he was going to buy an entire condo for more figures.
I'm saying I'm saying GI Joe Classified, Star Wars Black Series, like the ones you are collecting right now today. What's the price limit on that where you stop collecting?
$5.99 is my price.
You know
This
what I
was
mean?
$50, Sean.
It depends on what it is, though. That's the whole thing. It would depend on what they come with and what's included, and that's where I draw the line on a lot of the prices. Is if it's not worth it. To me, GI Joe is really worth it because they have the price tiered, and we already know. Okay, whenever this figure comes out, this figure is going to fall in one of these three prices, and then depending on what price he falls in, he either comes with an animal, he either comes with a vehicle, or he comes with tons and tons of accessories. So to me, the Joe model is how Hasbro should be doing it across the board with all their brands. I don't know why they're not.
I get that.
They don't
But
have
what I
to pay
mean
any
is,
licensing fees.
But Star Wars,
Star Wars,
for instance, we're not getting anything with the figures. So for me, if they went up in price, I wouldn't be buying them because there's nothing.
For me, it's
nothing
already
with,
hit that. It's already hit that price for me. So what I'm saying, which is why I want more 3 3/4 line stuff because I could afford 3 3/4. Even if it's $16, $17 a figure, I would be willing to pay that because I get more stuff and I could get vehicles and play sets with it because they can make things cheaper that are scaled to that size.
But see, now I'd be okay paying more for something with the quality. If something was going to come with a ton of accessories, alternate hands and heads, I would pay $40 and be fine with it. But if it's not, and we're doing what Hasbro's doing currently with Black Series, where literally you're lucky if it comes with an accessory, one accessory, it's really not worth any more money than it is. And now you're seeing why a lot of those figures are not selling.
I think I'm with Gilster here. I think it's going to depend, John. The price point's going to depend for me, not necessarily on what they're giving you as accessories, but whether or not they're helping me complete a section of figures. If it's $35, but it's Lobot, right? And I want Lobot in my collection. If it's $30, but it's 9 Num, I'm probably gonna get those figures because I want to have them. They're part of my core Star Wars figures that I want to have.
I'm in the same spot with those.
So
if it's Star Wars Empire, Return of the Jedi, or it's a Jedi from the prequels, I want to have all those Jedi guys.
Yeah,
I even want the snake guy there, Opal Rancis, and those things that are just totally obscure.
Later, but this figure at $27 is not coming home with me.
No.
Okay, see you, Dan.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, not getting that one.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up here pretty soon.
The sad part is with Morgan Elsbeth. Do I have the other one? No, I don't have it sitting in front of me. She's a fantastic figure, absolutely fantastic figure, designed very well. But for the fact of her not coming with anything when they already had the spear designed. It's already done from a previous release. Yeah. Simply could have just put the spear in with her. Yeah. They could have designed the little map and put that in with her. There was ways to do it. It's just unfortunate.
The map was done in Marvel Legends and in Star Wars already. I think they made that little ball. They could have just used the same ball that came with Star-Lord and painted it gold.
I'll tell you what Hasbro didn't know. Hasbro didn't know there was a little ball thing in the Ahsoka show when they designed that figure.
Well, it was
secret from the toy.
But they could have given her 3 cups, Rick. I mean, to be honest, without knowing, hey, you know what? We got these cups lying around from all these cantinas that didn't sell.
They could have gave her the spear from Mando. We know cups. Yeah, we know.
But the way that I believe the way the way
with
they
the cut.
You know
the
why I
way they
say this
budget
now?
those figures though is by wave, and they may have just made a deliberate.
But they could have
decision to
easily
sacrifice-
they had that spear already made for a Mando pack. It would have been a
No,
no-brainer to throw it in there. Like
I understand, but it may have been a deliberate business decision to sacrifice the.
yeah. And for the molding, because Sabine was new, Ezra was new, so like I get it. They had the budget for the thing, but that was like an odd budget choice of
No,
just
no. I think they should have had the map, and they should have had like green like magic effects and the sword.
even if they didn't want to. I could understand them passing on the sword and the green effects because they didn't want to spoil that for the end of the show. And for all we know, that's going to be the next Morgan Elsbeth release. Is the same figure painted with the sword and the effect.
And an alt head with the black
The
eye,
tattoo.
like eyes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I have her painted up back here already done. So
Yeah,
like
no, you did good. Your version looks way better than what they made.
it's an easy thing for them to do. Like, just add the sword, add some energy effects, and paint the head, and now there's your Morgan Elsbeth that's worth
Yeah,
20
reuse.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But I want to tell you about the reason why I keep bringing up the cups is because on a live
He's
stream,
small compared to your-
I was complaining about the cups, and somebody said to me, "You don't know what you're talking about. At least they're giving you an accessory."
Yeah, but those kids.
So my point is, when they're not giving you an accessory, they could have just given 3 cups, and then you would be happy.
No.
At least you would have got an accessory. Yes, I
Right.
see what
No,
you mean.
because I bought Bib Fortuna on clearance at Ollie's, and
he
the
came
cup-
with 3 cups.
Yeah,
And
the
you were
cups.
so happy to go home and use those
even
cups.
though we should have probably gotten his staff with the especially
Well,
the
he didn't
40.
have a staff
Yeah,
in the movie. That's
I
the
was so
problem.
disappointed.
No,
he
I
had
understand that, but he used it in Book of Boba because the figure came with the original one. So like it would have been a simple little thing just to pack in there as like an old, like I'm fine with that. You want to do old, like you even talked about it with the Jawa. How you never got a vinyl cape Jawa in Black Series line is beyond me. Like
I
you
think that
had
when they released
you know
those,
what I mean?
those
Like-
exclusives with that Ben Kenobi and that Jawa, which they were going to do, I think since they were already making vinyl capes for Kenobi, they should have just made vinyl capes for that Jawa.
yeah. And
I
I think they will for
it's
this
a nice little-
anniversary.
it's a nice little call back to the originals, and I'm fine with that, especially if
thought
you want
they
to give
did.
accessories and stuff that are with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Wait. I thought they did do a Jawa with a vinyl cape. Don't we?
No,
have
yes.
Yeah, back in 1978, John.
No. Didn't we just get that one?
No,
I
soft
You know what?
swear.
I have a picture of it on Twitter.
I swear I bought it.
Kenobi had a vinyl cape.
All right. What do you guys?
No,
Do you guys have
no.
anything coming up this weekend? This week?
few
Yeah,
videos.
tomorrow I'm going to this toy show.
Oh, cool.
So that's
I got the new Spider-Man wave, and they are awesome.
You're reviewing them and posting it tomorrow?
Yeah, I only did MJ and Tom Holland so far.
All
So
right.
that'll. It's just inbox though. I didn't open them.
All right. And Eric's gonna post his first video. It's gonna be a pinball machine.
Yep.
No.
No.
And I got little kid shoes of Yoda.
All right. Can you film yourself putting those on?
I can't. My feet are too big.
And Rick's got a tree. What is that?
I have a
It's
tree.
a
I'm
tree
gonna.
end.
My buddy Jay let me borrow this so I can go take pictures of them. This is Treebeard.
It's the tree
From the
end.
Lord of the Rings line.
Oh, I have
And,
that.
if you ever see one for cheap, buy it for me, please. Thank you.
Which
Okay.
which
I have
Lord of the
one already. I
I think I have that, Rick.
Yeah, I have also.
This is like an
somewhere.
18-inch one.
Yeah.
which
yeah.
Lord of the Rings line is that?
I think there's only one Lord of the Rings line.
Is
Oh,
it
I'm
diamond?
sitting around in a box. I probably have that.
Toy Biz made an 18-inch one, and they made like a 11-inch one. This
Okay.
18-inch one is badass.
All right. And then me, I don't think I have anything. I have another short video that I'm going to put up about Loki. And then I keep thinking I'm going to take this barbecue that I got for $5.99 and take the other one and then do a side-by-side, but it's probably way too late for that. Everybody else has probably already done it. And
Yeah,
I'll
see,
probably get, like,
Dino,
30
Dino, no,
I
see,
still
Dino
never,
agrees
I
with me.
still never bought that.
They're right
Dino-
here. They never made a vinyl cape Jawa. He came with soft goods.
Dino agrees with me. They had a vinyl cape Hasbro 6-inch retro figure of it.
That's a negative.
On card. Yeah.
No,
It's not
what
vinyl.
happened was, John, that one had the cloth cape. You may see Dino's confused because what I did was I took my vinyl cape off of my Kenobi and cut it down and put it on my Jawa, then stuck it back on the card. I took a picture and I've been showing it off repeatedly, so there's probably confusion as to.
I'm fine with them. Like I like when they pay. Like that's what I think I love about classified so much is like the little callbacks and little accessories and stuff. Even the package art that calls back to the TV show or calls back to something that happened in the comic book. Like Star Wars, they missed the boat on a lot of that stuff, man. There's so much.
You know what?
Like,
they also thought the Rancor ate a stormtrooper.
Well, that's what I mean. That just further validates my point of who
I don't
we're
think
talking about
anyone
here.
would buy any GI Joe classifieds if they didn't put them in the retro colors and the same similar card backs that they did in the 80s.
They learned
I don't
very
think the
early
line
on.
would even exist.
Well, they learned very early on because that first wave or two of
Everything
Joe's,
has to
like,
start
It took them a year to
they
figure
were
it out,
doing.
though.
But yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It took them figuring it out though to realize, hey, this is where our market is. They want the classic looks updated slightly, and now they're rolling on all like every Joe they've put out, everything
Hats
they've.
off to them. I think they're probably one of the more, I'm not going to say successful, but popular lines in the 6-inch
Well,
toys.
I think so.
They're
But a lot
the
of
new brand in Hasbro.
But they reach over multiple generations too because they're not just 80s, they're 90s.
Did you get the blue camo guy with the riot shield yet? He is freaking awesome.
I passed on shock.
Dude, he is incredible.
Yeah, I didn't. I only have limited room for Joe, so like I only go with like actual characters, like main characters, or I don't.
Room if they were 4-inch
Started
size.
a completely different conversation on top of another conversation.
And I don't do all the troops and troop building and stuff like that.
All right, to close out, over at Geek Strong has a contest. He says he's going to give away a cell barge if you watch every single one of his cell barge videos and comment on them, which is going to be impossible because he's going to continue to be uploading videos consistently until after the contest. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time on the Toy Team.
Toys, 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 manly toys, 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 toys.